Chapter 123 A Slap in the Face. Turns out An Yen was not bragging. _5. Li Dongliang said restlessly. How could one have known she made so much money before? Qian Jinfeng continued. No, we should increase her rent. How much? Li Dongliang asked next. Qian Jinfeng held up one finger. IO yuan? Li Dongliang asked. No. Qian Jinfeng shook her head. Li Dongliang incredulously said. It couldn't be 100, could it? Yes. Qian Jinfeng nodded. It is 100. 100? The rent for their entire shop was just a little over 100. This would mean that Yang was paying their rent. Moreover, Yang was just using some tables and stools. Could she afford 100 yuan? Qian Jinfeng noticed Li Dongliang's concerns. Doesn't pay? She dare not pay. If she doesn't, I will not let her place things here. If it weren't for placing her goods here, would she be able to earn so much money? I think 100 is too little. In my opinion, it's not unreasonable for Yang to share half of her earnings with us. Li Dongliang nodded. You have a point. Qian Jinfeng was absolutely right. If it weren't for their help, Yang wouldn't have been able to earn so much money. After all, the people Yang should be most grateful to are their family. Qian Jinfeng added, Don't worry about this. One will talk to her tomorrow morning. Okay. After discussing the matter, the couple went to sleep. The next morning, Qian Jinfeng cheerfully brought up the rent increase to Yang. 100? Did Qian Jinfeng really think money flowed from a river? Such audacity! Yang said with a full smile. Auntie Qian, there are a few days left till next month. For this month, my rent agreement was settled with Uncle Li. At the beginning of next month, we can raise the rent. Don't worry, I won't shortchange you by a cent. Qian Jinfeng did not expect Yang to agree to her request so readily. If she had known, she would have asked for more rent just now. Perhaps Yang also understood that her profits were all thanks to their help. Yang, that foxy creature, seemed to have some sense after all. Qian Jinfeng continued, Yang, let's take advantage of this spare time and sign the agreement for next month. You can also pay next month's rent in advance. Yang smiled and said, Auntie Qian, let's talk about next month when it comes. One don't have that much money on me right now. Upon hearing this, Qian Jinfeng became displeased. Your business is doing so well. How could you possibly not have money? Yang began to complain. No matter how good the business is, there are still costs involved, like fish, noodles, oil, labor costs. Each one costs money. Auntie Qian, you are also a businesswoman. You should understand why. Qian Jinfeng added, How much could those things cost? Don't think one don't know. The fish is not expensive at all. Yang swiftly arranged the tables and stools, then said, Goodbye, Auntie Qian. We'll talk about the rent next month. She already had an agreement with Li Dongliang for this month's rent, so she wasn't afraid of Qian Jinfeng causing trouble. By next month, she would be long gone, leaving Qian Jinfeng frustrated. Having said this, Yang rode her bicycle off into the distance. Qian Jinfeng spit on the ground out of anger. Humph, little vixen. Yang wouldn't be able to escape. Next month was just next month then. Qian Jinfeng thought to herself, should she adjust the rent to 200 yuan next month? After all, they hold Yang's lifeline. As long as they don't allow Yang to place her items, she wouldn't be able to do business. Never mind 200, even if it were 300, Yang would have to pay. With this in mind, Qian Jinfeng felt quite pleased. After hearing about Sun Chengxiang's affairs, Lu Wan had wanted to see the noodle vendor herself. She wanted to see what Sun Chengxiang's so-called little vixen looked like. It was finally Lu Wan's day off. When she arrived, it was nearly 11, but the stall still had a long queue. At this moment, a clear, unmatched female voice sounded through the air. There are only 10 portions of noodle soup left, and the sour plum soup has sold out. There is no need to queue any longer. Come and get a small card from me. Tomorrow morning you can come and get a bowl of noodles for 5 cents cheaper. This voice, why did it sound so familiar? Lu Wan frowned slightly. She strode a few steps forward. Upon seeing the vendor, she was stunned. The person selling the noodles was no one else but Ni Yang. Chapter 124 A Slap in the Face. Turns out Ni Yen was not bragging. _6. Could this really be Ni Yang, the rustic bumpkin? Why would she be selling noodles here? Lu Wan felt her worldview slowly crumbling. How much did Sun Chuanxiang say this bumpkin could earn in a day again? Was it 300? 300. That's 300. She and Ni Daju worked in the factory, toiling to the point of exhaustion, only to earn 40 yuan a month. Together, they made 80 yuan a month. But good ol' bumpkin and Ni Yang could make 2 months' worth of their wage in a day. Lu Wan was practically green with envy. At the same time, she deeply regretted not taking this country buffoon in initially. Maybe all the money this hayseed was making could have been hers. Just the thought of it made her heart ache. But it wasn't too late to realize this now. After all, she was Ni Yang's aunt, her elder. Ni Yang should hand over the money she earned for safekeeping. What on earth does this rustic who knows nothing want with so much money? She probably doesn't even know how to put it aside, much less guard it. What if she loses it? Lu Wan took a deep breath, walked up to Ni Yang with a smile, and affectionately greeted, "Yang Yang." Ni Yang handed her last bowl of noodles to a customer, looked up, and saw Lu Wan's ingratiating face. A look of indifference crossed Ni Yang's face. "Comrade, do I know you?" Caught off guard, Lu Wan chuckled, "Yang Yang, look at the way you talk. I'm your aunt. How could you not recognize me after just a few days?" Ni Yang had thought Sun Chuanxiang was already brazen enough. Turns out, Lu Wan put her to shame. "My mom is an orphan who doesn't even know who her parents are. Are you claiming to be an ant who sprouted from a rock?" Ni Yang retorted. With a thick skin, Lu Wan smiled. "Yang Yang, your aunt knows you're still angry about that day. But your uncle only spoke rashly out of anger. Your mother is his biological sister after all." Without a word, Ni Yang began clearing the stove and the bucket, ignoring Lu Wan. Lu Wan immediately started helping, smiling obsequiously. "Yang Yang, this strenuous manual labor isn't suitable for a young girl like you. Let your aunt handle it, go have a rest. Put it down." Ni Yang's voice was composed. "What?" Lu Wan blinked in surprise, her smile slightly forced. If Ni Yang was not rolling in money, she would not stoop so low as to fawn over her. What a disgusting act. Does she think she's something special? "I'm asking you to put it down," Ni Yang repeated. Her tone was calm, but carried an undercurrent that cut deep. The hand Lu Wan was using to hold the large iron spoon trembled involuntarily. "Why, Yang Yang? Why, you don't need to be polite with your aunt. I'm not tired." Ni Yang continued, "Miss, if you don't put my stuff down, 111 be contacting the police for robbery. There are patrolling officers right over there." Robbery. The word made Lu Wan turn white. It was a critical time with strict law enforcement. As a formal factory worker, even a tiny blemish could get her fired from the factory. Besides, Lu Wan cared a great deal about her reputation. If the police were really summoned here, in this great public spectacle, how could she save face? "Yang Yang, don't be upset. Your aunt will put it down, one will put it down." Lu Wan carefully placed the large iron spoon back into the bucket. "Stay away from me." Ni Yang spoke coldly. Lu Wan immediately stepped back. "Why, Yang Yang? Your uncle didn't mean what happened that day. He regrets it very much after you and your mother left. He was so worried that he couldn't sleep or eat well for several days. Your uncle is, after all, an elder. Can you please let it go? Your aunt is willing to apologize on behalf of your uncle." Lu Wan went on in a humble tone, saying many nice words to Ni Yang, but Ni Yang did not respond at all. "Yang Yang, we were wrong, really wrong. Please stop being angry." Even if Ni Yang was highly temperamental, she was only a teenage girl after all. Teenage girls were easily influenced, and maybe she could easily call her aunt with a smile after a while, Lu Wan idealistically thought. After clearing up, Ni Yang finally had time to look at the fawning Lu Wan. A mocking smile played on her lips. "When one treat you like a human, for the love of God, Don't act like a dog. A dog? Was Ni Yang insulting her? Lu Wan was a bit slow to react. What do you mean? Ni Yang mildly smiled. I'm just asking you to act like a human. Lu Wan was almost spitting with fury. Yet she managed to force a smile. Yang, stop joking around. Ni Yang raised an eyebrow. Oh, so being called a dog now affects your understanding of human speech? Stifling her rage, Lu Juanaved drew a deep breath, forcing herself to calm down. For the sake of money, she could not lose her temper. She mustn't. Having ignored Lu Wan again, Ni Yang started carrying tables and chairs over to Li Dongliang's store. Lu Wan wanted to follow Ni Yang, but she didn't dare. No, she needed a foolproof plan. Perhaps she could start with Ni Tsuehua. That dim-witted creature Ni Tsuehua would be much easier to manipulate than Ni Yang. Yes, that's the way. Thinking about it, Lu Wan seemed to see numerous huge banknotes waving at her. Elated, she turned around to return. As long as she knew Ni Yang was selling noodles here, she wasn't afraid Ni Yang would run off. But for the upcoming matter, she needed Ni Daju to take action. After all, he and Ni Tsuehua were biological siblings. After returning, Lu Wan told Ni Daju everything. Upon hearing this, Ni Daju was shocked. Really? You didn't see it wrong? Is that bitch actually that rich now? Could I have seen it wrong? Lu Wan continued. I even talked to her today, but her words, her tone, it seems like she may not want to acknowledge us. Enraged, Ni Daju spat. I'm her biological uncle. She dares to disavow us. Lu Wan nodded. So let us go to their house tomorrow. That bitch makes a lot of money now, but you're her uncle. Her money should naturally be under your care. Having put on airs in front of Lu Wan for the first time, Ni Daju was quite pleased with himself. Definitely, after all, I'm her uncle. If she doesn't give it to me, who else would she give it to? Hearing his words, Lu Wan narrowed her eyes into a smile, attentively massaging Ni Dazu's arms and legs, serving him well. Ni Daju, who had always been henpecked, was finally able to sit back and reap the rewards. His face was all smiles. Lu Wan continued. I think that bitch must have at least a small 10,000 yuan on her hands by now. You must get it all tomorrow. Our girl Chuanxiang has long wanted new clothes, but they're too expensive in the mall, so one didn't have the heart to buy them. Chapter 125 Tortured to the point where not even dregs remain. _1. Even the cheapest clothes in the mall were over 30 yuan apiece, close to Lu Wan's monthly salary, so how could she afford to buy them? But now it's different, their family has money. They could afford not just one, but even 10 items. Early the next morning, Lu Wan woke up Lu Xiangxiang. As the only daughter in the family, Lu Xiangxiang was pampered and loved at home. She responded angrily, Can't you let me sleep in a bit? Are you summoning spirits? Lu Wan laughed. Don't be upset. Get dressed, we are going to your aunt's house. Aunt? She has an aunt? At this point, Lu Xiangxiang froze, screaming. You woke me up so early, and it isn't to go to that rural bumpkin's house, is it? Lu Wan nodded. Mom, you must have a fever. Lu Xiangxiang reached out to touch Lu Wan's forehead. Didn't we already sever ties with that bumpkin? Lu Wan laughed and told her daughter what had happened, instructing, Xiangxiang, when we get to your aunt's house, you must remember to be polite. No more acting disrespectful. Lu Xiangxiang could not believe it. Does that bumpkin and Yang really have so much money now? Indeed, Lu Wan nodded. I have seen it with my own eyes. Lu Xiangxiang continued. Mom, does that mean once we have money, I can buy lots of beautiful clothes? Yes, Lu Wan added. I'm also planning to buy some furniture for our home, a fridge, an electric fan and such. That's great. Lu Xiangxiang jumped up excitedly, immediately went to her room to change clothes. Lu Xiangxiang quickly changed. She wore a bright red dress which Ni Daju had reluctantly bought for her as a birthday gift last year. It cost 39 yuan. Usually Lu Xiangxiang would not wear it, but it was different now. Their family was about to become rich. Besides, she was going to see Ni Yang. Even though that country bumpkin Yang was not educated, she was pretty. Lu Xiangxiang didn't want to lose to Yang. The family of 3 set off grandly. When they got to the street, Lu Wan said, "Daju, why don't we buy some fruit to bring with us?" Daju retorted, "Buy fruit? Why waste that money? As that girl's uncle, should she not be buying fruit for me? It's already a great favor for me to visit her." Seeing how Tsuehua begged last time, you can tell she sincerely cares for her brother. After all, a woman, leading 2 children around, needs a man, right? Without a doubt, once Tsuehua sees him, she would cry tears of joy. She might even kneel before him. Thinking of this, Daju felt even more proud. Lu Xiangxiang agreed. "Dad is right. Why should we buy fruit for her? Are we buttering her up?" The family of 3 boarded the tram. Lu Wan had already started planning for the future. "Daju, this trip is not just about making Tsuehua cough up the money, but also about having that brat Yang take Xiangxiang under her wing when she does business." Upon hearing this, Lu Xiangxiang immediately objected. "I don't want to do dirty and tiring work with that bumpkin. It's tiring, not to mention embarrassing." Lu Wan laughed. "Don't worry, Xiangxiang. Mom's not asking you to work. You just need to handle the money behind that brat. That brat hasn't even finished junior high. Can she manage money? She makes 300 yuan a day, and you just have to hand over 200 yuan to your dad and me, and save the remaining 100 yuan for yourself to spend however you want." Upon hearing this, Lu Xiangxiang's eyes lit up, and she nodded in immediate agreement. "Okay, Mom, I will listen to you. That's 300 yuan. My God, she had never seen that much money before. With money, she could buy not only clothes but also perfume, snowflake cream. She wants to completely surpass that country bumpkin Yang. Since they did not know Quihua's exact location, it took the family of 3 all the morning to find Jinghua village. Bang, bang, bang. Yang was washing vegetables in the courtyard when she heard the knocking on the door. Tsuehua ran to answer it. As soon as she opened the door, Tsuehua was stunned. Standing at the door were Daju and his family. Chapter 126 Abuse to the point where there is nothing left. _2. Tsuehua. Auntie. Lu Wan and Lu Xiangxiang greeted with smiles all over their faces. Lu Wan looked at Tsuehua, jealousy oozing from the depth of her eyes. Where was the pitiful figure Tsuehua posed 3 months ago? She was dressed in the latest batwing blouse from the mall, flared trousers made of good quality fabric, and the most fashionable leather high-heeled shoes. Just her outfit alone would cost at least 100 yuan. That's her 3 months' salary. How could a country bumpkin dress like this? Isn't that just wasting money? Lu Wan was extremely upset. If Lu Wan were to see Quihua's golden bracelet, she would probably die of jealousy on the spot. Daju looked at Tsuehua and reprimanded unhappily. Standing at the door like a post, "Can't you see your brother is here?" Could it be that Tsuehua was so overjoyed that her brother showed up and became foolish? Tsuehua glanced at Daju and his family. Her face didn't show any excitement Daju had expected. She knew Daju was here only because now he had seen that her daughter was capable and could make money. Since the day Daju chased Tsuehua from the family courtyard, she had been clearly aware of their vile faces. This time, she won't let them drag Yang down. Tsuehua coldly responded, "I'm just an unwanted orphan. Where did brother come from? Comrades, you've got the wrong person, haven't you?" With that, Tsuehua slammed the door shut, leaving behind Daju and his family dumbfounded. What just happened? How did Tsuehua suddenly become so defiant? Especially Daju, whose face was twisted in anger. This is outrageous. Now Tsuehua even dares to treat her own brother like this. After taking the first assertive action and shutting the door, Tsuehua took a deep breath. She was a little nervous. At this moment, Daju and Lu Wan's angry voices and complaints came from outside the door. "Look at such people now that she's well off. She doesn't recognize us poor relatives. Open the door, Tsuehua. Open the door for me. How can there be such a heartless person in the world? Hearing the noise, Young quickly dropped his vegetables and went to Kuihua's side. Mom, what happened? Chungue, who was resting inside, came out too. Tsuehua simply explained the situation. Chungue angrily said, how can there be such shameless people in the world? They'll show them. With that, Chungue picked up the giant broom leaning beside and walked to the courtyard door. Chungue flung the door open and swung the broom around, yelling, how dare you bullies come to my face in broad daylight? Do you think it's easy to bully a widow like me? Don't be fooled by Chungue's courteous appearance. When she gets mad, even 10 of you wouldn't stand a chance against her. Daju and Lu Wan didn't have time to dodge and were hit by the broom several times. This broom, which has swept not only the ground but also the orchard, didn't smell good. The noise was loud and drew a crowd of villagers. Lu Wan was scared. She quickly tried to defuse the situation. Sister, you're mistaken. We're here to see Toa. This is my husband Daju. He's Kuihua's brother. Bah! You have no shame. Chungue spat on the ground and stood with hands on hips. Everyone in Jinghua village knows Tsuehua is an orphan. When did she get a brother? Don't think that just because Tsuehua just moved here you can bully her because she's an orphan. If you want to bully Kuihua's family, you 3 bastards have to step over my body first. Lu Wan, who prided herself on being more cultured, couldn't out-argue Chungue. She could only loudly say, sister, let's be reasonable. My husband really is Kuihua's brother. Tsuehua is such an ungrateful person. She enjoys succulent food at home and ignores her brother from birth family. Even a poor relative is a relative. At these words, murmurs started amongst the villagers. If that's the case, then Tsuehua was really heartless. Like the saying goes, don't forget your roots when you prosper. Every family has a few poor relatives, but how could she not recognize them? She couldn't let these people continue this misunderstanding. Tsuehua braced herself and stepped forward. He's not my brother. I've been an unwanted orphan since childhood. He's merely a person who grew up in the same village. Now they see Yang is doing well. They're eager to attach themselves and pretend to be relatives. It's hard to even drive them away. Chapter 127, abused to the point where there is nothing left. 3. Why does it sound so familiar? Yang raised her eyebrows slightly, then recalled. These were the words from 3 months ago. When they went to Daz's house, Lu Wan used them to humiliate them. It seems that mother has really grown up. Lu Wan also sensed that something was wrong. Because after all, these words came out of her mouth. Before Yang could react, she was pulled by Tsuehua by the wrist, and she loudly shouted. People say that a nephew resembles his uncle. Can all of you here tell me how does our Yang look like this Daju? Indeed, she does not look like him at all. Yang and her mother are so good-looking. This Daju doesn't even come close to half of their beauty. And their daughter, even if she's dressed in dragon robes, she's not fit to be a prince. Such a disgrace. Lu Wan was almost infuriated to death. Her eyes reddening, she said, Tsuehua, don't forget your conscience. If you are not the sister of Daju, how can you have the surname I? Not only do you have the surname, you even gave your daughter the same surname as our Daju. Now you even can't acknowledge your own brother. How are you qualified to let your daughter bear the same surname as our Daju? Chungue burst into laughter and shouted, my mother also has the surname I. Does that mean my mother is also your relative? The majority of people in our Jinghua village are surnamed I. Does that mean all of us surnamed I took the surname of your man? I have seen shameless people, but I have never seen people as shameless as you. Right, is it possible that all people in the world surnamed I follow him to be surnamed I? Shameless. So shameless indeed. Listening to the surrounding ridiculing, Daju was so angry that his whole body was trembling. How dare you, Tsuehua? You just started to prosper, and you have already started turning your back on us. Do you even respect your big brother anymore? Tsuehua, it looks like you're asking for it. Daju walked directly to Kuihua's side. rolled up his sleeves and was about to hit her. After all, Enai Tsuehua was a woman. How could she stand a chance against the strong and sturdy Enai Daju? Someone is hitting others. Someone is hitting others. Enai Chungo signaled Enai Tsuehua with his eyes, then suddenly sat on the ground and began shouting, "A rogue has come to our Jinghua village to hit people." Enai Tsuehua quickly caught on, and followed suit by sitting on the ground, starting to make a fuss. "Help! Someone's killing me." The two of them played off each other, totally dumbfounding Enai Daju. He hasn't started attacking yet, and these two women are already sitting on the ground? What's the meaning of this? Are they playing dirty? They are actually playing dirty. Have they no shame? Do they really think I wouldn't dare to do something? Quickly. Let's go quickly. There's a bad guy bullying Sister Enai Yang. Gooden and Guobao led a group of small companions running this way. Sister Enai Yang, don't be afraid. We're here to protect you. Charge. Defeat the little devils. Enai Daju was about to make a move, just when a bunch of little bastards swarmed into the yard, armed with weapons in their hands, and started hitting Enai Daz's family indiscriminately. Those with rocks were throwing rocks. Those with sticks were holding sticks. Some even simply went straight to bite them. Things happened so quickly, the scene was chaotic for a moment. Even if Enai Daz's family has the strength, they can't tackle so many of these little bastards. Enai Daju was beaten up with a bruised nose and swollen face. His eyes could not even be opened. Lu Wan was also beaten up and in a complete mess. Even Lu Xiangxiang was heavily beaten, and her carefully braided long hair was filled with cockleburr. Kill you! Kill you bad guys! Let you bully Sister Enai Yang! Yang Guobao and Gooden directly climbed onto Enai Daju. Kill the little devils! A bunch of adults stood aside. None of them seemed to want to stop them. Gooden's grandmother even stood on the side and cheered Gooden on. Enai Yang has been in Jinghua village for so long, and has helped many of us. A month ago, she got hives and couldn't sleep at night due to the itching. Enai Yang cured it with a prescription of herbal medicine and did not even charge a penny. Enai Tsuehua is also a very honest and down-to-earth person. Both of them are good people. They can't be bullied by a group of shameless people. Looking at the scene before her, Enai Yang's nose suddenly turned sour, and she almost cried. Mu Jinbao, Old Lady Mu, and Enai Daz's family showed her the ugliest side of human nature, while the villagers and children of Jinghua village showed her the kindest side of human nature. Just like this world, there is night and there is also day. Seeing the situation turn against him, Enai Daju quickly took his wife and child and fled in disgrace. Chapter 128, abused to the point where not even dregs are left. _4. But these little rascals had no intention of letting them go easily, continuing to chase after them with rocks in their hands. Yang Guobao, like a little military strategist, walked up to Gooden. Gooden. It's not wise to chase a desperate enemy. One Gooden, holding the last stone in his hand, aimed at Enai Daz's head, and threw it while yelling, "Bastard! If you dare to bully Sister Enai Yang again, it'll make your head bloom." Enai Daz's head instantly swelled up with a lump. It was thanks to everyone today that Enai Daju and his gang had to sneak away with their tails between their legs. Enai Yang, not an ungrateful person, immediately pulled Enai Tsuehua to express her gratitude. "No need to thank us. You and your daughter are now part of Jinghua village. We actually didn't do much. It was mainly thanks to the children." Upon hearing this, Gooden, Guobao, and the other children felt shy. Protecting Sister Enai Yang is our responsibility. We are all Sister Enai Yang's little protectors. Right? We are all little protectors. Slowly, people dispersed, and the children ran off. Enai Yang watched everyone's retreating figures, her eyes full of determination. She is the kind to return even a small favor with great kindness. She would definitely find a way to repay everyone for today's events. One shouldn't be ungrateful in life. Enai Yang turned to Enai Chingue. "Enai, thank you for today. Alt, there's no need for thanks." Enai Chingue continued, Yang, Enai scared you just now, didn't she?" Thinking of her own shrewish behavior earlier, Enai Chingue felt somewhat embarrassed. Enai Chingue used to be truly gentle, in fact. Ever since her husband's car accident, she had changed. As the saying goes, a widow's doorstep is much trodden. Without a gritty personality, she couldn't have protected herself. No, Aunt Anai, you were very brave. Today's Anai Chungue really impressed Anai Yang. Because sometimes, to deal with evil people, you should be like Anai Chungue, fight evil with evil. Mom, you were great today too. Anai Yang turned and looked at Anai Tsuehua. Anai Tsuehua shyly replied, Really? Yang Yang? MMHM. Anai Yang nodded. Anai Tsuehua continued, Don't worry, Yang Yang. They'll keep being strong so you don't have to worry. The 3 members of the Anai Daju family, who came to Jinghua village, not only didn't benefit but ended up feeling bitter for having been beaten. Unfortunately, they had no leg to stand on. Although Anai Daju is Anai Quihua's brother, they do not have a blood relationship, and Anai Quihua's household registration has also been transferred out. Their relationship was not legally recognized at all. Moreover, they brought this beating upon themselves. Both Anai Daju and Lu Wan were fine with just some minor scrapes. Applying some medicine and resting for a few days would do the trick. But Lu Xiangxiang was a different story. Her long hair was full of burdock, and couldn't be removed no matter how hard she tried. Lacking any alternatives, they could only cut her hair short. Lu Xiangxiang had spent 4 whole years growing her beautiful long hair. Losing it in this way would definitely look awful. The crying Lu Xiangxiang was on the verge of fainting, as she pounded and slapped Anai Daju and Lu Wan. I don't want to cut my hair. One don't want to cut my hair. It's all your fault. If you hadn't gone to find that country bumpkin, would I be in this state? Lu Wan, heartbroken, soothed her. Xiangxiang, don't cry. Mom will buy you a beautiful hat. As long as your nourishment is in order, your hair will grow back soon. I don't want... Anai Daju interjected. Xiangxiang, don't worry. Dad will definitely avenge you. You dare to speak. Lu Wan slapped Anai Dazu's face, angrily berating him. You're the most useless. You couldn't even beat a few kids. If it weren't for you, would Xiangxiang be like this? Why do I have to suffer such misfortune? To be with you, such a jinx? Anai Daju, adding insult to his injuries, took a long while to respond. Wan, listen to me. I really have a way to take down that bitch Anai Yang this time, and make her beg us. Lu Wan frowned slightly. Go on. Anai Daju then whispered a few words into Lu Wan's ear. Lu Wan nodded, finally smiling again. All right. He'll go find Sister Chuanxiang tomorrow. The next day, Lu Wan went to the morning market early. Chapter 129 Tortured to the point where not even dregs remain. _5. To avoid the sight of Anai Yang, which gave her an uncomfortable lump in her chest, Lu Wan purposely took a detour to Sun Chungxiang's place. She took out 30 cents. Sister Chuanxiang, I'll have a bowl of noodles, please. While picking up the coins from the table, Sun Chuanxiang feigned reluctance. Xiao Lu, we are like real sisters. How can one possibly take money from you? As her words fell, she suddenly looked surprised. Xiao Lu, what happened to your face? Did you have a fight with your husband, Daju? Lu Wan managed to squeeze a small smile. It's nothing. Just hit my face on the door. Oh. Sun Chuanxiang nodded knowingly, her expression filled with implications. Was Lu Wan trying to fool a fool? Could hitting her face make it look like that? She must have certainly behaved outrageously, and that's why Anai Daju punched her. Sun Chuanxiang went to make a bowl of noodles for Lu Wan. While eating, Lu Wan asked, Sister Chuanxiang, which organization did you rent the stall from? Sun Chuanxiang chuckled. Why? Xiao Lu, are you thinking of starting a business? Lu Wan responded, I don't have the talent for business. I am just asking for my sister-in-law whose younger sibling doesn't have a job, and she wants to give it a try. Oh. Sun Chuanxiang nodded and told Lu Wan the place where she rented her stall. Immediately after finishing her noodles, Lu Wan rushed to the lease office. When she met the person in charge, she said, Hello, I would like to rent a stall for my business. The woman in charge, a middle-aged lady, replied, I'm sorry, comrade. All our stalls have already been rented out. We have no vacancies. No vacancies left. This is great. Lu Wan then took out a stack of money and eagerly said, one would like to rent the one Ni Yang has at 3 times the price. She was going to make it impossible for Ni Yang to run her business. Ni Yang would come begging to her. 10 times the price? The woman pondered for a moment and checked the lease contract. She saw Ni Yang's contract was about to expire in 2 days, so she said, that stall is currently 25 yuan per month. If you are willing to pay triple the price, it will be 75 yuan per month. And we require a deposit equal to 3 months' rent. So, you need to pay an advance of 300 yuan. What's 300 yuan? Ni Yang could earn that in 1 day. Once they rented that stall, Ni Yang would have to pay, not just 300 yuan, but even 3,000 yuan if needed. Upon hearing that, Lu Wan was overjoyed. So, you mean you would rent it out to me? The woman continued. One can rent it out, but only from the beginning of next month. This month's contract hadn't expired yet. Lu Wan laughed and said, that's fine. Let's sign the contract now. Let Ni Yang enjoy herself for only 2 more days, as it was almost next month anyway. Lu Wan handed over all her savings, 300 yuan, to cover the fee for renting the stall. On the way home, Lu Wan felt like she was walking on air. She could already picture all the money waving at her. The instant she arrived home, her husband Ni Dezhu anxiously asked, how did it go? Did you get it done? Done. It's done. Lu Wan nodded eagerly. Lu Xiangxiang walked over and asked, Mom, Dad, can you avenge me now? Yes. Lu Xiangxiang went on. Then I will cut Ni Yang's hair off completely. I want her to kneel and apologize to me. Every time she thought of her beautiful long hair, Lu Xiangxiang wished she could bite Ni Yang to death. Lu Wan laughed. Just wait. In 2 days, Ni Yang will be begging us. Then we will show her how it feels. The money had been paid, the contract had been signed, and now the stall was theirs. If Ni Yang wanted to do business, she had to beg them. Lu Xiangxiang asked next, can I still go there to collect money? Yes, of course. Lu Wan boasted. All the money that wicked girl makes will be yours. While Ni Daz's family was dreaming of getting rich, Ni Yang went to the tram station after closing her stall for the day. At the station, Ni Tsuehua was already there with her child, waiting expectantly. Yang, over here. Ni Yang parked her bicycle beside Ni Tsuehua. Mom, get on. I'm taking you to see our shop. Okay. Ni Tsuehua got on, holding her child, with a smile that never left her face. This was probably the most joyful day Ni Tsuehua had had in a long time. Chapter 130, abused to the point where not even dregs are left. _6. Unlike her first time in the streets, Ni Quihua's mental state had undergone significant changes. Her transformation involved not just her clothes, but also her manners and deportitude. If not told otherwise, no one would have guessed that just over 3 months ago, she was an illiterate rural woman. The location where Ni Yang bought her shop was excellent, located in a bustling urban area, surrounded by schools, libraries, and a community. For a moment, Ni Yang seemed to glimpse through the present and into the future's prosperity. Although her current shop only cost her 25,100 yuan, in 2 to 3 years, its price would definitely shoot up by 10, 100, 1,000, or even 10,000 times more. Therefore, she had to take advantage of the present, when housing prices have yet to rise, and buy several more properties to keep. If one day she doesn't want to do business anymore, she can just sit at home and collect rent. By then, she'd probably tire out from collecting all the rent. Ni Yang took out the key and opened the door to the shop. Inside the shop was bare, without any decorations. It was over 50 square meters, excluding the kitchen and bathroom. Ni Yang roughly calculated and noted that if she put normal 2-person tables inside, she could fit at least 20. Ni Tsuehua, holding her child, stood in the middle of the shop and incredulously said, Yang, is this shop really ours now? The echo of her voice bounced around the empty shop. Ni Yang nodded. Of course it's ours. Look, This is the property deed. And Ai Tsuehua took the deed, her excited eyes reddening. She was not dreaming. She really wasn't dreaming. Don't cry, Mom. And Ai Yang reached out to wipe the tear stains on Ai Kuihua's face. Our good days are just beginning. And Ai Yang's career was also just starting. The bright future was still ahead. And Ai Tsuehua nodded. To celebrate the purchase of the shop, and Ai Yang took Ai Tsuehua to the vegetable market to buy more ingredients for a delicious dinner. The Mediterranean vendor who sold beef and lamb already recognized Ai Yang. Shawnee, what would you like today? And Ai Yang smiled and said, the usual. All right then. The Mediterranean vendor quickly weighed the meat, then asked, Shawnee, is this woman your mother? Yes. And Ai Yang nodded. The Mediterranean vendor was inwardly amazed. No wonder Ai Yang was so beautiful. Her mother wasn't an ordinary person. From her clothes and demeanor, she was definitely from a well-educated background. As it was now autumn, Ai Yang decided to take Ai Tsuehua to the mall after leaving the vegetable market, planning to buy some clothes for autumn and winter. Unlike their first trip, because both mother and daughter were now impeccably dressed, the salespeople were much more enthusiastic and flocked around them. Again, this made Ai Tsuehua realize the importance of money and status. Yang, hold your sister for a moment. I need to use the restroom. Ai Tsuehua handed the child to Ai Yang. Ai Yang smiled and said, Mom, let me accompany you. Ai Tsuehua declined. No need. I'm not a child. I can go on my own. She was no longer the timid, illiterate, and weak Ai Tsuehua from before. Knowing that her mother's transformation over this period of time was quite apparent, Ai Yang wasn't worried. Then go ahead. I'll wait for you here. Cough, cough, cough. Just as she came out of the restroom, Ai Tsuehua heard a severe coughing sound. Ai Tsuehua looked to the side and saw an elderly woman crouched by a trash can, coughing painfully. The old woman was coughing so hard her eyes turned red, her face pale, looking like she could faint at any moment. Madam, are you all right? Ai Tsuehua, who had never experienced maternal love as a child, couldn't bear to see the elderly woman alone and in distress, so she asked. Between coughs, the old woman said, I'm fine. She didn't know what was wrong. Despite taking medication, her coughing had only worsened recently. Ai Tsuehua helped the old woman up. Let me help you sit over there for a bit? Thank you, young lady. As the elderly woman turned to look at Ai Tsuehua, her pupils constricted. Her grip on Ai Kuihua's hand unconsciously tightened significantly. Was she seeing things? Child? Suppressing her cough, the old woman asked with a trembling voice, Where are you from? Ai Tsuehua smiled and said, My family is from Yanjing City. Yanjing. Yanjing and Guangguan are thousands of kilometers apart. Chapter 131 Abused to the point where not even dregs are left. _J She was mistaken. She made another mistake. A hint of disappointment gleamed in the old lattice eyes. She asked, Are there any people left in your mother's family? Ai Tsuehua responded, My parents died early. I don't have much family left now. Ai Tsuehua didn't even know this old lady. She couldn't possibly reveal her entire background to her. Besides, her foster parents had died early, so this statement was not wrong. What a pitiful child! The old lady gently patted Ai Kuihua's hand. Just then, a mother and a daughter raced over from the distance. Mom! Grandma! It wasn't any other people, it was truly Zhang Lingling and Zhang Xianjing, mother and daughter. Seeing that the old lattice family had arrived, Ai Tsuehua quietly excused herself. Ai Yang was waiting for her elsewhere. Lingling, Xianjing. Old Lady Zhang smiled at Lingling and Xianjing. The mother and daughter immediately grasped Old Lady Zhang's arms. Old Lady Zhang chuckled. Lingling, let me tell you, I just saw a young person who looks so much like Tingting. Damn old lady. Even at this late hour, she still remembered that Zhang Tingting. A flash of resentment crossed Zhang Lingling's gaze, but on her face, she smiled. Really? Mom, where is that person who looks like sister? Let me see if it is Tingting. Old Lady Zhang turned back and looked around to see. Puzzled. Eh? Wasn't she still here just now? How did she disappear in a blink of an eye? Zhang Lingling gave Xianjing a signal with her eyes. Zhang Xianjing immediately said, "Grandma, let me help you look for her." Old Lady Zhang laughed. "No need to. She is probably not my Ting-Ting." So many years had passed. After experiencing countless dashes of hope followed by despair, Old Lady Zhang had grown numb. Seeing Old Lady Zhang's emotion, Zhang Lingling immediately switched the topic. "Mom, is your cough getting any better? Should we head back home early?" After roaming around in the mall and stirring up painful memories for Old Lady Zhang, she didn't want to continue shopping any longer. She nodded. "Let's go home." Zhang Lingling and Xianjing exchanged a look, then helped Old Lady Zhang walk towards the exit. Anai Yang was standing there, holding her younger sister. Little Anai Yun giggled heartily in her arms. The unrestrained laughter of the child, pure and innocent, attracted the attention of others in the mall. As Mo Baichuan turned around, he saw Anai Yang. Why was she everywhere he looked? Mo Baichuan frowned slightly. Without a second thought, he knew this must be intentional on her part. Did she really think that owning a stunning face was enough to win his affections? How ridiculous! Seeing Mo Baichuan's distraction, the man in the suit next to him couldn't help but remind him. Mr. Mo? Mr. Mo. Only then did Mo Baichuan come back to his senses. He gave a light cough to mask his embarrassment. Where were we at in our conversation? Let's continue. The man in the suit continued his chatter. They continued talking and walking. Mo Baichuan tried his best to move towards Anai Yang, because he was eager for Anai Yang to approach him. Wasn't Anai Yang's purpose of this trip to initiate a conversation with him? But Anai Yang completely ignored him as if he was invisible and continued to play with her little sister in her arms. What was going on? Could it be that she didn't notice him? Mo Baichuan unconsciously raised the volume of his voice. Finally, Anai Yang turned her gaze towards him. Those eyes, like the stars in the sky, and a faint smile on her lips. She indeed had a face that could entrance one's heart. Mo Baichuan's heart started throbbing uncontrollably for several beats. And not only did Anai Yang cast a glance towards him this time, but she also walked towards him, with the child in her arms. He knew it must be that Anai Yang was coming for him. So calculating, as Anai Yang's distance from him grew shorter, Mo Baichuan's heartbeat began to quicken. He's been mentally preparing himself to reject Anai Yang and extinguish her hopes once and for all. But then, the very next second, just as Mo Baichuan was about to reject her, Anai Yang's gaze skipped right over him and she headed past him. Anai Yang left. Anai Yang actually completely ignored him and walked away. Although Mo Baichuan was unwilling to believe the scene before his eyes, Anai Yang truly did not spare him an extra look, didn't even bestow a glance from the corner of her eye. "Mom, let's check that area out. I see some clothes over there that would suit you nicely." Anai Yang walked up to Anai Tsuehua, holding her little sister. Anai Tsuehua smiled and nodded. Okay. The mother and daughter, chatting gaily, detoured towards the other side. Mo Baichuan was so angry he almost exploded. Why didn't Anai Yang approach him? Could it be she did not come for him after all? What exactly was going on here? In fact, Anai Yang didn't see Mo Baichuan at all, because she never wasted her time on insignificant individuals. The man in the suit looked in the direction that Mo Baichuan had been staring at. "Mr. Mo? Do you know them?" "I don't know them." Mo Baichuan grumbled 3 words, feeling as uncomfortable as if he had swallowed a fly. His mind was filled with questions about why Anai Yang didn't approach him. Was it a new tactic or something? Anai Yang led Anai Tsuehua to the other side of the scene, finally bought the clothes and shoes they desired. It was a fruitful journey. It was already past 4 in the afternoon when they got home. As soon as Anai Yang sat down on the chair, she saw Yang Guobao, his cousins, and Gooden had arrived. Guobao, Gooden, Shaoqin Yuanji. Anai Yang immediately began distributing the snacks she bought from the street market. There were the big white rabbit milk candies and bear cookies. and I Yang had never been stingy when it came to these children. Thank you, sister and I Yang. The four of them thanked politely, and I Yang smiled. There's no need to act so ceremonious with your sister. Guobao munching joyfully. By the way, sister and I Yang, I have something I want to tell you. And I Yang nodded. Go on. Guobao's spirits suddenly dropped. Sister and I Yang, my mom wants to bring me home tomorrow. Chapter 132 Winning Hearts. Guobao returns home _1 Yes. Yang Guobao is going home. After 3 months of treatment and recuperation, he is completely cured. And I Yang gently touched Yang Guobao's head with a smile. 3 months have passed. It's time to go home and see your grandparents and father. Yang Guobao hugged an I Yang, choking up. Who? WH. Sister and I Yang, I'm gonna miss you. Silly Guobao. And I Yang laughed. We will see each other again. We will have many chances to meet in the future. Gooden scorned. Guobao, are you a man or not? Like us men of the Go generation, we don't cry. Guobao? The Go generation? When did Yang Guobao become Guobao of the Go generation? I wonder if these kids will acknowledge these nicknames when they grow up. And I Yang couldn't help but laugh. Yang Guobao immediately straightened up, wiping the tears from his face. Yes, we men of the Go generation don't cry. And I Yang nodded. Yes, that's more like a little man. Gooden immediately objected. Sister and I Yang is wrong. We are clearly grown men. Yang Guobao, still with tears on his face, echoed. We are grown men. They are all grown men who can protect sister and I Yang. After comforting him for a while, Yang Guobao finally began to smile. And I Yang, remembering the food she had bought today, continued. You four go and call over all the other kids. Tonight we'll have dinner at sister and I Yang's place as a farewell meal for Guobao. Yeah. Gooden jumped up excitedly. Then let's go call everyone else now. And I Yang nodded. Go ahead. Yang Guobao, Gooden, Wang Shaoqin, and Wang Yuanji ran off in a flash. Upon hearing that guests were coming for dinner, and I Tsuehua immediately came over to ask an I Yang what they would be eating tonight, so she could start washing the vegetables. And I Yang thought for a moment and then said, Tonight we're having hot pot. Mom, wash some more meat and a bit extra fish and shrimp. I'm going to visit Aunt Joe's place. They'll start cooking when I come back. All right. And I Tsuehua nodded. You better go quickly. After taking some money from her room, and I Yang started walking towards Zhou Qingshang's residence. Along the way, villagers kept greeting an I Yang. Liking and disliking are mutual feelings. Wang Jinfang, a woman who begrudges others their success, greeted an I Yang with a smiling face. But as soon as an I Yang turned her back, Wang started spewing sarcasm. This little girl doesn't learn good habits at such a young age and does all kinds of shameless things, dressed so extravagantly. I wonder who she's going to seduce now. Mom! Peng Hu rushed in from another direction, looked at Wang Jinfang angrily. You're not allowed to talk about sister and I Yang like that. Wang Jinfang looked down at Peng Hu and said menacingly, You little brat, know your place. Mind your own business. Peng Hu sat on the ground, crying and making a fuss. Sister and I Yang is not like that. Sister and I Yang isn't. Peng Hu is the only male heir in 3 generations of the Anai family. Wang Jinfang gave birth to 3 daughters before she finally had this precious son. Seeing Peng Hu sitting on the ground and crying, she was heartbroken. Oh, my precious baby. Get up, no more crying. I won't get up. Peng Hu sobbed. Sister and I Yang is not like that. What Wang Jinfang saw made her grimace. But seeing her son like this, she just indulged him. Sure. Your sister and I Yang is not like that. Mom was just joking. Pang's crying gradually subsided. He looked at Wang Jinfang and said, Mom, promise me that you will never badmouth sister and I Yang again. Wang Jinfang continued. Mom promises not to speak ill of your sister and I Yang again, although she said that Wang Jinfang was still dubious about an I Yang. A young girl who was dressed in rags when she first moved to Jinghua village, is now all of a sudden dressed so well. Very suspicious indeed. Wang Jinfang absolutely did not believe that Ni Yang wasn't engaged in some sort of shady business. Otherwise, where did all the money come from so quickly? Mom, swear, Pang Hu sobbed. If you talk bad about Sister Ni Yang again, when I have a son, he won't have a butthole. People in this era are superstitious. Wang Jinfang was scared silly when she heard this, immediately saying, "Spit, spit, spit. There's no harm in a child's words. Nobody curses themselves like that." Chapter 133 Winning Hearts. Guobao returns home _2. Pang Hu said earnestly, "Words from the mouth of babes must not be taken lightly. Mom, hurry up and swear. Otherwise, my future offspring will come into the world without an anus." Though Pang Hu was only 8 years old, he was shrewd. He knew that Wang Jinfang had a soft spot for him. If he was to stake his future children on this bet, surely she wouldn't ever sling mud at Ni Yang again. Wang Jinfang was almost done in by her son's buffoonery. Being the clever woman she was, how could she have ended up with such a simple-minded son? With no other options, Wang Jinfang begrudgingly made the oath. Only then did Pang Hu break out into an elated smile. "Mom, the teacher says those who can acknowledge and correct their wrongs are good children." Wang Jinfang. Just then, Guden and Yang Guobao led a group of children running over calling, "Pang Hu, Pang Hu." Pang Hu instantly waved his hands and ran over. "Coming, coming." After a quick huddle, Pang Hu yelled out to Wang Jinfang, "Mom, I won't be home for dinner tonight." Wang Jinfang called out, "If you're not coming home, where will you eat?" Pang Hu replied, "Sister Ni Yang is treating us tonight." Sister Ni Yang treating them? Was Ni Yang treating these children to a dirt buffet? Although that's what Wang Jinfang thought, she didn't voice it. She just replied, "Be sure to come home early." Got it. By the time Wang Jinfang looked up again, Pang Hu and the others had already disappeared in the distance. Hoisting the hoe onto her shoulder, Wang Jinfang headed home. Ni Yang arrived at Zhou Qingshang's house. "Madam Wang." Ni Yang knocked on the door and raised her voice. "Is anyone home?" Recognizing the voice, Zhou Qingshang immediately ran out from the kitchen. "It's Yang Yang. Come in and have a seat." Ever since Ni Yang cured Zhou Qingshang's cough and cold with a stick of bupleurum, Zhou Qingshang had taken a liking to the beautiful young girl. If it were anyone else, even if she were coughing her lungs out, they probably wouldn't bother. But Ni Yang, even though they were strangers at the time, was incredibly helpful. "Madam Wang, is Uncle Tiniu home?" asked Ni Yang. Zhou Qingshang's husband, Wang Tiniu, lived up to his name, being as sturdy as an ox. He learned to be a bricklayer in his younger years. He knew how to renovate and build houses. If there was work to be done, he'd be out there building houses for people. If not, he'd be at home working the farm. Because of his hard work, their family lived a decent life. Ni Yang's main purpose for this visit was to offer the job of renovating the store to Wang Tiniu. Originally, Ni Yang could have handed the task over to a construction team in town, but she wanted to take this opportunity to show her gratitude to the villagers. Zhou Qingshang replied, "Your Uncle Tiniu is outside. They'll call him for you." Ni Yang nodded. "Thank you, Madam Zhou." Zhou Qingshang laughed. "Oh, it's no trouble at all. Yang Yang, come in and take a seat. They'll be right back." Even though she didn't know why Ni Yang wanted to see Wang Tiniu, Zhou Qingshang still went out enthusiastically to call him. Before long, Zhou Qingshang returned with Wang Tiniu. Despite his rough appearance, Wang Tiniu was a very kind-hearted man. "Yang Yang, why are you standing there for? Come in. Uncle Tiniu." Ni Yang followed Wang Tiniu indoors. "Wifey, hurry up and make some tea." Wang Tiniu then instructed. Ni Yang laughed. "Uncle Tiniu, you don't need to fuss over me. One will leave in a moment." Before Ni Yang finished speaking, Zhou Qingshang had already prepared the tea. "Thank you, Madam Wang," Ni Yang said, as she politely took the teacup with both hands. "No need to be so polite with me." After taking a sip of tea, Ni Yang proceeded to discuss business with Wang Tiniu. Uncle Tiniu, my shop is about 50 square meters. Adding the kitchen and bathroom would make it about 65 square meters. Please bring 10 laborers from the village. And Yang did the math and concluded that excluding the elderly and children there were roughly 10 laborers in Jinghua village. Besides the heavy work, the job at the construction site didn't require much skill. It just needed some good old-fashioned hard labor. Wang Tiniu listened, bewildered, and struggled to believe what he heard. Yang, are you pulling my leg? You genuinely have a shop and you want me to renovate it? After all, Yang was just a teenage girl. It was only natural for Wang Tiniu to be skeptical. Anticipating Wang Tiniu's disbelief, Yang took out the bundle of cash she had prepared earlier. Uncle Tiniu, they'll pay you in advance. It's 3 yuan per day for skilled workers and 2 yuan per day for laborers. Chapter 133 Winning Hearts. Guobao returns home _3. 3 yuan for skilled labor? 2 yuan for unskilled labor? Wang Tiniu's eyes widened in surprise. The average worker's salary was only 40 yuan a month at this point in time. Normally, when he built houses for others, he only charged 1 yuan per day for skilled labor and 85 cents for unskilled labor. At Yang's, it was several times more. Of course, Wang Tiniu was not the type to take advantage of others. Moreover, as Yang was just a young girl, he certainly couldn't take advantage of her. Yang, you don't need to pay this much. Just give the market rate. 1 yuan for skilled labor and 85 cents for unskilled labor, he said. Yang smiled and said, no changes needed, but Uncle Tiniu, I have a request. Go on. Yang continued, I hope all the renovation work can be done within a month. Wang Tiniu assured, don't worry about it. There are so many of us. In fact, we can even get it done in half a month. It was only a 50 square meter shop, and there were 12 workers in total. As the saying goes, many hands make light work. Wang Taizhu was not boasting, so Yang's request wasn't really a burden. There's no need to rush, Yang continued. As long as it's completed within a month, I plan to open for business on the 2nd of next month. Wang Tiniu nodded. All right, don't worry. Yang added, Uncle Tiniu, do you know who in our village is the best at cooking? As a manly man, Wang Tiniu had no idea. Zhou Qingshang laughed and said, I know. Aunt Wang Jinfang makes amazing meals. Despite her differences with Aunt Jinfang, Zhou Qingshang spoke the truth. Aunt Jinfang indeed was a great cook. Yang nodded and then said, let's get Aunt Jinfang too. Have her cook lunch at the construction site, and she will get the wages of an unskilled worker. Wang Tiniu felt a bit uncomfortable. Yang, your wages are already high enough. There's no need to provide lunch. Yang laughed and said, Uncle Tiniu, you're all working hard and I can't let you go hungry. That's settled then. I'm putting my trust on you, Uncle Tiniu. Once you've made arrangements, meet me at the tram station in the city around noon tomorrow or the day after. It'll take you to the shop. Now it'll be going. Zhou Qingshang and Wang Taizhu hurried to see Yang off. Having seen off Yang, Wang Taizhu returned to his house, still in a daze. He asked Zhou Qingshang, Wife, pinch me. Am I dreaming? Zhou Qingshang laughed and said, Look at how delighted you are. You're not dreaming. Wang Tiniu sighed. Yang is the god of wealth in our village. Zhou Qingshang echoed. I knew early on that Yang would amount to something. Wang Tiniu counted the money Yang left on the table. It totaled 930 yuan. 180 yuan for 2 skilled laborers, 600 yuan for 10 unskilled laborers, and 60 yuan for a cook. It must be said, Yang had made some really sound and trusting arrangements. Since Yang trusted him so much, he must live up to her trust. Wang Tiniu extracted his 90 yuan and handed it to Zhou Qingshang. You keep this. I'm off to find the others. Zhou Qingshang accepted the money, still somewhat dazed. In the past, Wang Tiniu had to labor for 3 months to earn just 90 yuan. Worst of all, finding consistent work for 3 consecutive months was not guaranteed. The most head ever brought back seemed to be just over 40 yuan. All of these changes stirred deep feelings of gratitude in Zhou Qingshang. With the money in hand, Wang Tinyu went door to door. After explaining the situation, the villagers were overjoyed and grinning ear to ear as they received the money. Given that it was the idle farming period, a sudden opportunity to work, especially with an immediate payment that was multitudes higher than the market rates, had them naturally elated. 60 yuan. A season of hard farming couldn't earn them that much. And Yang really was their village's lucky star. The last stop was Wang Jinfang's house. When he arrived, Wang Jinfang was feeding the chickens. Her husband Fatsai, who couldn't do heavy work due to an early injury, was cooking in the kitchen. Seeing Wang Tinyu, Wang Jinfang warmly asked, "Brother Tinyu, what brings you here?" Chapter 134 Winning Hearts. Guobao returns home _4. Despite Wang Jinfang's usually picky and stingy demeanor, she remained quite warm when dealing with acquaintances. Besides, she and Wang Tinyu were relatives. Wang Tinyu explained the situation with a smile. Shocked, Wang Jinfang asked, "Brother Tinyu, are you joking or being serious? Don't tease me." As Fatsai was in poor health, Wang Jinfang was having a hard time making ends meet. So, the news of getting 60 yuan got her extremely excited. With that 60 yuan, their family could feast for the coming new year. However, she had spoken badly of Yang behind her back. Would Yang really ask her for help? She found it somewhat hard to believe. Wang Tinyu smiled and said, "Would I lie? Do you think I've nothing better to do? Here is your wage. If you're free, join us in the city tomorrow at noon." "Great, they'll be there." Wang Jinfang graciously took the money and thanked Tinyu profusely. Wang Tinyu continued, "You don't need to thank me. If anyone, thank Yang." Wang Jinfang laughed, her eyes nearly disappearing from her joyous face. Right. I should thank Yang. Thank Yang. She had acted foolishly by misunderstanding Yang. Lucky for her, Yang was forgiving and didn't hold her past actions against her. Right now, apart from being grateful, Wang Jinfang deeply appreciated Yang. Thinking about the harsh words she had spoken about Yang before, she really regretted it. Teach her to talk behind others' backs. Teach her to be mean to others. If anyone dared to badmouth Yang in the future, Wang Jinfang swore she'd give them a slap. When Yang returned, Cuihua had washed and prepared all the vegetables. The fish and shrimp meat were finely chopped too. The beef bones were stewing in the pot, and the air was filled with their tempting aroma. Yang rolled up her sleeves and began to prepare the hot pot base. Everyone in Jinghua village, from the elderly to toddlers as young as 3 years old, loved spicy food, so she didn't need to worry about making a mild hot pot for the children. However, she still prepared a non-spicy base, just in case any children couldn't handle the heat. The copper pot for the hot pot was layered, ideal for a double-flavor hot pot. After preparing the hot pot base, Yang started making fish balls and shrimp slides. Having done it successfully once before, she made quicker progress this time. Fish balls and shrimp slides were not only a treat for the taste buds, but they also had high nutritional value and low cost, so Yang made extra. The rest was the handling of beef and lamb. After prepping the hot pot ingredients, Yang cooked 3 side dishes that were good for skin health and beauty. Additionally, she also prepared a big jar of chilled sour plum soup. The combination of piping hot pot and iced sour plum soup was simply perfect. Once all the dishes were on the table, Gooden and Yang Guobao brought all the children to the table. There were 15 children of different ages, the oldest being 13 and the youngest around 5 or 6 years old. Seeing so many children, Yun laughed with joy. Little Yun was fair and chubby, which attracted the kids' attention, and they all gathered around to play with her. After a short while, Chungue returned from work. At first, she was stunned to see the house filled with people, then laughed and said, "Yang, are you throwing a party at home again?" Yang replied, "Guobao is leaving tomorrow, we're having a farewell party. Auntie and I, go wash your hands, and we can start eating." Chungue immediately went to wash her hands. The children were well-behaved and took their seats around the table. The spicy, red oil base, the fragrant, white soup base, the boiling base teased their taste buds with its inviting aroma, and without even starting to cook the food in it, everyone already started salivating. Anai Chingwe walked in from the outside after washing her hands and said with a smile, "Enjoy your meal. Don't wait for me." Anai Yang distributed small plates of oil-dipping sauce to each child and said, "Make yourselves at home. Here, at Sister Anai Yang's, you can eat as much as you like." Everyone immediately dug in. Soon after, the air was filled with delightful exclamations. "This is delicious! Sister Anai Yang is so talented." Peng Hu took a bite of the shrimp slide, turned to Anai Yang, and said unclearly, "Sister Anai Yang, you're awesome. Your cooking is way better than my mom's." It's even better than my mom's cooking." Chapter 135 Winning Hearts. Guobao returns home _5. The boiling hot red chili oil in the pot accentuated the satisfied faces of the children. Observing this was enough for Anai Yang to feel satisfied, even if she herself didn't eat anything. Anai Yang prepared many dishes that day, all of which were devoured completely. An hour later, the children all lied in their chairs, their bellies round and full, unwilling to move an inch. They had absolutely relished their meal. Even during the new year, they had never enjoyed a meal this much. Anai Yang prepared some lotus leaf cold tea for everyone to share. Sometimes, when children eat too much, it easily leads to indigestion. Lotus leaf tea has the effect of clearing heat, removing dampness, dispersing blood stasis, and improving digestion. After dinner, it was past 6 in the evening, and it wasn't completely dark yet. After thanking Anai Yang, children took advantage of the remaining daylight and headed home. As soon as Peng Hu arrived home, Wang Jinfang picked him up. "Son, what delicious food did Sister Ai Yang cook for you tonight?" Peng Hu was slightly taken aback. Since when was his mother so courteous to Sister Anai Yang? Could it be that his threat in the afternoon had worked? After all, she didn't want her grandson to be born without an anus. Yes, that must be it. Peng Hu laughed and said, "Sister Anai Yang made hot pot tonight. I ate so much meat. Mom, look how full my belly is." As he said this, he lifted his shirt to show his belly to Wang Jinfang. So, they were having hot pot. No wonder it smelled so good. Anai Yang must indeed be a talented cook. Otherwise, how could she manage a restaurant in the city? She used to judge others by herself, even thinking ill of Anai Yang. Whenever Wang Jinfang thought about this, she was overwhelmed with regret. Seeing Wang Jinfang lost in thought, Peng Hu continued, Mom, look at my belly. One tell you, Sister Anai Yang's food is even tastier than yours." Wang Jinfang finally reacted, showering Pang's face with kisses. "My son is wonderful." Peng Hu was dumbfounded at being praised. Had he done something praiseworthy? A moment later, Wang Jinfang put Peng Hu down and brought out eggs and pomegranates that had been stored at home for a long time. "Peng Hu, tomorrow you take these things to Sister Anai Yang. Make sure she accepts them, okay?" Although Wang Jinfang can be a bit tricky, she reciprocates kindness with kindness. At this point, she already considered Anai Yang as one of her own. Peng Hu incredulously asked, "Mom, is this really for Sister Anai Yang?" He knew his mother to be stingy. The eggs she had saved were supposed to be sold. She would usually not even spare one for her precious son to eat. Yet, now she planned to give this whole basket of eggs to Anai Yang. Additionally, there were 2 large, red pomegranates. These pomegranates were given stealthily by his grandmother during the last visit. She had given only 3. Peng Hu had eaten 1, and the remaining 2 were hidden away by Wang Jinfang, to be eaten gradually. It was too incredible to be true. When had Wang Jinfang become so generous? Seeing Pang's reaction, Wang Jinfang asked with a smile, "What? You don't want to give these to Sister Anai Yang?" Peng Hu immediately shook his head. "Not at all. I want to give them to Sister Anai Yang." Afraid Wang Jinfang would change her mind, he grabbed the basket and said, "I'll take them to Sister Anai Yang right now." Wang Jinfang held Pang's hand. It's dark now and unsafe. Go in the daylight tomorrow. Don't worry. I will stand by my word and won't retract it. Mom, are you serious? Penghu asked suspiciously. Of course I am. Wang Jinfeng nodded affirmatively. Still doubtful of Wang Jinfeng, Penghu held out his little finger with a solemn oath. Then let's make a pinky promise. If you break your word, my son will be born without an anus. Wang Jinfeng laughed and lightly swatted Penghu's head. You little rascal, always threatening your mom with that line. Immediately, Penghu said earnestly, Mom, make a promise. Promise. Wang Jinfeng extended her hand to make a pinky swear with him. In Ai Yang's place. And Ai Yang is busy preparing pickled fish noodles and dinner for Grandma Mo. As tomorrow marks the last day of her noodle stall, and Ai Yang is preparing over 800 servings of pickled vegetable noodles, 100 more than usual. She also prepared lots of small cards, which she had started preparing a couple of months ago. Since she has decided to move her noodle stall, she needs to lay out her plans in advance. Word of mouth is crucial amongst regular customers. Otherwise, she would have to start building clientele from scratch. Chapter 136 Winning Hearts. Guobao returns home _6. These cards, in addition to offering discounts, also have the new shop's address written on them. All 500 cards were handwritten by Ai Yang, whose handwriting is very beautiful, so it looks like printed text. Today, Ai Yang prepared red bean cakes, pickled vegetable noodles, and steamed shrimp dumplings for breakfast for Mrs. Mo. Since the old lady hasn't had pickled vegetables for a long time, Ai Yang thought of giving her a different taste. No need to mention the taste of the shrimp dumplings. Moreover, shrimp meat is rich in nutrients and can supply calcium. Red beans have the functions of moistening the intestines and relieving constipation, lowering blood pressure, reducing blood lipids, regulating blood sugar, detoxifying, preventing cancer, and preventing stones. It's a very good ingredient for the elderly. The combination of red beans and glutinous rice is irresistible. It tastes sticky, sweet but not greasy, refreshing and easy to digest, making you want to take another bite after tasting the first. After finalizing the menu, Ai Yang began preparing the ingredients. The next day, Ai Yang set up her noodle stall on the snack street as usual. When she told everyone that she would no longer be selling noodles the next morning, a look of disappointment appeared on everyone's faces. Boss, why are you not selling these delicious noodles anymore? My son is a picky eater. Without these pickled vegetable noodles, he wouldn't eat. Boss, will you still sell in the future? Or just not coming tomorrow morning? Ai Yang smiled and said, Rest assured, everyone, I'm not stopping sales, but I will reopen a month later. The new shop address is across from the Wuhua Library. You all are regular customers. I'll give each of you a card. There's a discount of 5 cents a bowl on the opening day. Plus, you get a cup of sour plum soup. A discount of 5 cents and a free sour plum soup? The discount is actually so huge. Upon hearing this news, the crowd exploded. I want one. Me too. Ai Yang smiled and said, Everyone, don't worry. We have 500 cards. Everyone present will get one. Upon hearing this, the crowd calmed down and began to line up in order. However, the customers who received cards later naturally ran out. Customers who didn't receive a card all sighed with regret. Then Ai Yang continued, Don't worry if you didn't get a card. Anyone who eats noodles on the opening day can get a free cup of sour plum soup. A cup of sour plum soup also costs a cent. Upon hearing this, everyone's mood improved a lot. Although Ai Yang prepared more than 800 soup noodles today, they sold out before 11 o'clock as usual. After all, she came early. The first bowl had been sold at 5:30. When Li Gongqing came, Ai Yang told him that she would not be selling here tomorrow. Upon hearing this, Li Gongqing was surprised. What about the old lattice meals? And what about him? He had now gotten used to days with pickled fish noodles. He felt anxious whenever he couldn't eat them. Ai Yang continued, I will prepare the old lattice meals every morning. Ask the renovation workers to bring them over, and then you can trouble to pick them up. It's not a hassle. Li Gongcheng scratched his head. Xiaoni, are you sure your new shop will not be open until the 2nd of next month? Can't it be earlier? And Yang shook her head. It may not be possible. There need to be renovations, purchasing tables and chairs, etc. Li Gongcheng sighed in disappointment. What should he do? And Yang smiled and said, if you like pickled fish noodles, I can cook a portion for you every morning and keep it in the thermos. When you pick up the elderly woman's meals, you can pick it up at the same time. Upon hearing this, Li Gongcheng's eyes lit up. Great, great. Xiaoni, you are really smart. With that, Li Gongcheng took out a yuan note and handed it to Yang. Then he'll pay for a month's noodles in advance. Yang reached out her hand to receive it and gave Li Gongcheng a yuan as change. After packing up her stall, Yang first sent the tables and chairs to the shop, then rode her bicycle to the tram station. When Yang arrived, Wang Tiniu, Wang Jinfang, and the other villagers of Jinghua village had also just arrived. Uncle Tiniu, Aunt Jinfang, and uncles, hello. Yang greeted them politely. Everyone responded warmly. When Wang Jinfang saw Yang, she felt a little embarrassed. She had assumed that Yang would have at least said a few sarcastic remarks about her since she had spoken many ill words about Yang before. However, Yang was courteous from beginning to end and didn't put on any airs. For a moment, Wang Jinfang's impression of Yang improved even more. Chapter 137 Winning Hearts. Guobao returns home 7 and Yan took them to the shop, then went to the vegetable market to buy some vegetables for Wang Jinfang. The vegetables were from her own home, but the tofu and pork were bought from the market. These people all did manual work, how could they not eat meat? Although there wasn't much meat, just a bit over 2 pounds, it was enough to satisfy everyone's craving. After all, at this time they could only eat a few pieces of meat during the new year. Wang Jinfang's cooking skills were excellent, and in no time, the smell of fried meat filled the whole house. Smelling the fragrance of the meat and thinking about the wages given by Yan, everyone was instantly filled with energy. After Wang Jinfang finished cooking, there was not much work in the afternoon. Although Yan only asked her to cook, she didn't leave early. Instead, she helped everyone with tools and carried buckets of mud, doing some laborer's work. After all, Yan paid her 2 yuan a day. Plus she ate meat at noon. She had to earn her money and the meat she ate at noon. Wang Jinfang couldn't be a person with no conscience. After leaving the shop, Yan did not go home, but rode her bike to the local bureau to apply for a business license. In addition to the business license, she also had to apply for a health permit and a food circulation permit. After all, she wanted to be a qualified individual operator. The efficiency of the bureau was very high, and Yan completed all the certificates by 2 o'clock in the afternoon. After the certificate, Yan went to the vegetable market again. Since she didn't need to set up a stall to sell noodles tomorrow, she didn't buy fish, but bought a little less than 200 pounds of greens. After all, once the shop opens, the daily sales volume will be higher than when she set up the stall, so she needs to prepare pickles. She can't run out of stock. The vegetable vendor recognized Yan and not only gave her a discount of 5 cents but also gave her a pound of peas. Because it was not the right season, so peas were very scarce and expensive at this time. It can be seen that the vegetable vendor had a long-term vision. He knew that Yan was a potential customer. After buying vegetables, Yan happened to pass by Li Dongliang's small shop. Qian Jinfeng had been standing at the door waiting for Yan all morning. When she saw Yan, her eyes lit up. Yang, over here. Yan slowly stopped the car. Aunt Qian. Qian Jinfeng smiled and said, Yang, why did you finish the stall so late today? Yan said, I went to the vegetable market. Qian Jinfeng nodded, then said, Yang, didn't we talk about raising the rent a few days ago? I originally told you it was 2 yuan a month, but after thinking about it, I felt that 2 yuan was a bit too little. After all, you make that much money in a day, you can't let me watch you eat meat, right? After all, if you didn't have my shop to store your things, you wouldn't be able to earn as much money. Qian Jinfeng talked a lot. The point was that Yan was able to earn money because of their house, And Yen smiled faintly, directly interrupted Qian Jinfeng. So, what are you implying, Auntie? Qian Jinfeng licked her lips. What I mean is, I want to raise the rent to 300. After thinking about it for a while, Qian Jinfeng decided that at least 300 yuan in rent was most appropriate. After all, Yen could earn 300 a day. 300 yuan was nothing to Yen. 300, huh? Yen asked with a smile. Yes, yes, yes. Qian Jinfeng nodded eagerly. Yen is still looking cheerful, her attractive peach blossom eyes shining like stars, and the corner of her mouth curled up in a light smile. But the words she said made Qian Jinfeng almost die of anger. She said in a clear and slow tone, Auntie, why don't you rob someone? Qian Jinfeng replied angrily, Is 300 too much? If we weren't renting you a place, could you earn as much money as you do? 300 it is. Not a cent less. If you don't rent, there are plenty others who will. This she-devil Yen went too far. She earned 300 yuan a day. But now she doesn't even want to spend 300 yuan on rent. Yen smiled lightly. Auntie, then you should rent it to someone else. What? Qian Jinfeng looked at Yen in disbelief. Was Yen not renting it? No. Yen, what do you mean? Yen continued. Since your corner is in high demand, I'll give it to others. I have business to attend to. Goodbye. She's leaving? Yen just left like that? Qian Jinfeng then remembered that Yen hadn't brought any tables and chairs over today. Qian Jinfeng panicked and yelled, Yen, do you mean you're not renting it? Yen's voice floated back with the wind. Yes, not renting. Not renting. Qian Jinfeng panicked and her legs went soft. Watching Yen getting further away, she shouted anxiously, Yang, don't leave. If you think it's too expensive, I'll take 200 from you. If it really doesn't work, 100 is also fine. 50, 30, 20. But Yen showed no sign of turning back. Qian Jinfeng stamped her foot and nearly cried, Even 10 would be fine. But all that responded to her was a gentle breeze. People always want more than they can have. Li Wei walked over. Mom, I told you a long time ago. Yen is not a fool. She will not let others slaughter her. 300. Even her own son wanted to scold Qian Jinfeng when he heard the number. Let alone Yen. Qian Jinfeng said angrily, You always take sides against your mother. Just wait and see. That fox Yen will definitely come back and beg me. Unless she doesn't want to do business anymore. By then, don't say 300. One won't rent to her even if she offers 600. Li Wei said, What if Yen has already found another place? Mom, don't forget, we are not the only ones who run a shop on this street. And Yen was just storing some tables and chairs, and it didn't take up much space. A rent of 1 yuan a month is already quite high. Upon hearing these words, Qian Jinfeng drooped completely. Why didn't she think about these things? Wang Meifeng took Yang Guobao back to the city. When Yang Chongzheng was about to open the door after hearing the knock on the courtyard, Zhou Suhua stopped him. Wait, let me see who it is first. When she lifted the curtain and saw Wang Meifeng leading Yang Guobao, Zhou Suhua's face immediately sank. No one is allowed to open the door today. I must make Wang Meifeng admit her mistake. Zhou Suhua sat on the sofa in the living room, angry. I told her long ago that the 3-0 barefoot doctor in the countryside was no good. She didn't listen to me. Now there's a problem. She knows to come back. Huh? What was she doing before? Chapter 138, Making Skincare Products. Visiting to say thanks, Zhou Suhua was on the brink of being enraged to death by Wang Meifeng. What a wasteful woman. Even though she went to college, she was fooled by a naive girl. This is a total disgrace to her. Is the divine doctor inferior to a naive girl? The more Zhou Suhua thinks about it, the angrier she gets. Torn between his wife and his mother, Yang Chongzheng is caught in a dilemma. Mom, now that Meifeng has realized her mistake, please forgive her. Realized her mistake? Zhou Suhua snorts coldly. Does she look like she's sorry? First, she wants to leave without saying a word, and now she wants to come back just like that. Does she think our Yang family's doors are that easily accessible? This time, if one don't make her suffer a little, she will never understand who is the mother-in-law and who is the wife. Saying this, Zhou Sua's eyes suddenly teared up. Poor little Guobao, such an innocent child, suffered for 3 whole months with her mother out there. Guobao's health was already bad, yet he was tormented by Wang Meifeng. Without a doubt, Yang Guobao's condition has now worsened, hence Wang Meifeng must have brought Yang Guobao back home. Yang Chongjing sighed. For Guobao's sake, could you bear to see him standing outside? Yang Guobao is the eldest grandson of the Yang family. Of course Zhou Suhua couldn't bear it. Yet she was just so angry. Every time she thought about Wang Meifeng not listening to her elders, she became even angrier. She is Guobao's grandmother, would she harm Guobao? If it weren't for Wang Meifeng's stubbornness, would Guobao have to go through all the sufferings? Zhou Suhua picked up her cup and sipped some tea. Let's wait a bit more. Standing outside for a while won't kill them. Seeing his mother like this, Yang Chongzheng was upset, pacing back and forth in the room, wanting to go open the door, but not daring to do so. Outside, Yang Guobao was peeping towards the inside, anxiously saying, "Mom, why is no one opening the door? Is Grandma not at home?" Wang Meifeng knew her mother-in-law's temper. She brushed Yang Guobao's small head. "Let's wait a bit more. Grandma will come and open the door for us soon." "Okay." Yang Guobao nodded. Mother and son waited outside for 10 more minutes. Still no one came to open the door. Some acquaintances passed by, called out, "Meifeng's back. What's the matter? No one at home or you're being denied entry?" Wang Meifeng's mother-in-law was notoriously dominating. And this time Wang Meifeng was in the wrong too. She was wrong to take Yang Guobao away regardless of anyone else's opinion. Wang Meifeng smiled and said, "I think there's no one home. 111 wait a bit more." The acquaintance carried on. "How is Guobao now? Is he better?" Wang Meifeng nodded. "Guobao is healed now." Yang Guobao immediately puffed up his chest. "That's right, Aunt Zhou. I'm all healed now." Upon hearing this, Aunt Zhou looked at Yang Guobao in astonishment. "Really? Not fooling me?" Wang Meifeng replied. "How could one possibly deceive you about such a thing? There are only 2 things in the world that you can't hide. One is poverty. The other is sickness." Aunt Zhou carefully looked at Guobao's little face. Guobao used to always be ill, so his face was pale and dull, looking like a sickly child. But now Guobao looked indeed different. Not only has his little face turned rosy, but his big shiny eyes, like a kitten's, exuded vitality. Who would consider him a sick child now? "My goodness!" Aunt Zhou couldn't help exclaiming. "That barefoot doctor really is something, so talented. A disease that doctors in the city couldn't cure was healed by a barefoot doctor." If she didn't see it with her own eyes, Aunt Zhou wouldn't have believed it. Yang Guobao patted his chest. "Exactly. My sister and I Yang is really great." He indeed looked happier than when Aunt Zhou was praising him. Aunt Zhou said again, "Meifeng, I heard from your mother-in-law that the barefoot doctor is just a teenage girl. Is this true?" Wang Meifeng nodded. "It's true. Yang is just 17 years old this year, but her medical skills are outstanding. Without her, Guobao wouldn't be here today." Hearing this, Aunt Zhou was filled with admiration. "What a marvel! Meifeng, it was your good fortune to meet this little doctor. You must remember to thank her appropriately." "Yes," Wang Meifeng continued. "Don't worry, one will." Because the conversation was across a courtyard, Zhou Suhua didn't hear it very clearly. She could only vaguely make out Divine Doctor. Chapter 139, Making Skincare Products. Door-to-door gratitude _2. A divine doctor? Could it be that Yang Guobao is really fine now? But on the other hand, where in the world are there so many divine doctors? Even Dr. Wang, the imperial physician, does not dare to call himself a divine doctor. It must be Wang Meifeng trying to find a way to get herself in. "Mom!" Yang Chongjing looked at Zhou Suhua again. "Can I go open the door now? It's been 15 minutes. "Go ahead," Zhou Suhua continued. "But it's not because of Wang Meifeng. am only opening the door because of my great-grandson. And let me tell you this, if Wang Meifeng doesn't apologize for what she did to my great-grandson, I won't let her off the hook. All right, grateful as if he just received a pardon. Yang Chongjing ran out to open the door. As soon as Yang Chongjing opened the gate, Yang Guobao, like a monkey, jumped on him. Dad, I missed you so much. Yang Guobao, who used to be sickly, was never this lively or energetic. Yang Chongjing was stunned. Guobao, you? Yang Guobao excitedly said, Dad, I'm better. No one will call me sickly again. Really better? Yang Chongjing tilted his head to look at Wang Meifeng. Wang Meifeng nodded. Yang Chongjing shouted excitedly, hugging Yang Guobao and running toward the house. Mom! Mom! Guobao is better. Guobao is better. Zhou Suhua stood up inside the house, her eyes filled with tears. Better? Is her great-grandson really better? Mom! Guobao is better. Yang Chongjing, holding Yang Guobao, rushed into the house and stood in front of Zhou Suhua. Zhou Suhua croaked out, Is he really better? Grandma, I really am better. Yang Chongjing slapped his chest. Look at how strong I am, like a little calf. 3 months had passed, and Yang Guobao had not only grown taller, but he also got stronger, no longer skinny and frail like before. Zhou Suhua stretched out her hands, her voice trembling. Come, let grandmother hug you. Yang Guobao reached out and threw himself into his grandmother's arms. Yang Guobao used to weigh only 30 pounds at 7 years old, light as a feather when lifting him, but now he was heavy. Wang Meifeng said from the side, Mom, don't worry, Guobao is really better. He hasn't had an episode for over 2 months while staying at my mom's house, and Nai Yang also checked him and said that Guobao will have a healthy body just like a normal child in the future. Could such a young girl really be that capable? Zhou Suhua was still a little uneasy. We should take Guobao to Dr. Wang for a checkup. What if that girl had used some forbidden drugs to create the illusion that Yang Guobao was temporarily okay? Wang Meifeng knew her mother-in-law's temperament and what she was worried about. And Yang was indeed competent, and they were not afraid of getting checked again. Mom, if you're not at ease, let's go to Dr. Wang. Zhou Suhua held Yang Guobao and said, Let's go now. Yang Chongjing found the car keys, and the family of 4 hurriedly left the house. The car was fast, and they quickly arrived at Dr. Wang's private clinic. Since it was the afternoon, there were not many people at Dr. Wang's place. Seeing Wang Meifeng and Zhou Suhua come in, Dr. Wang stroked his small goatee, helplessly saying, I have already told you, epilepsy has no cure, can only be alleviated. Why are you here again? Isn't this a waste of time? From ancient times to the present, there has never been a case of an epilepsy patient fully recovering. Upon hearing his words, Zhou Sua's heart sank. She was even more convinced that Nin had fed a banned drug to Yang Guobao. Wang Meifeng, if something bad happens to my grandson today, I won't let you get away with it. Yang Guobao hugged Zhou Sua's neck. Grandma, you can't yell at Mom like this. I'm really better. Dr. Wang sighed and shook his head helplessly. Wang Meifeng wasn't angry and instead smiled. There's always someone better out there, Dr. Wang. Just because you couldn't cure the disease doesn't mean others can't. Dr. Wang was thoroughly infuriated. Ridiculous! My grandfather was once an imperial physician. Imperial physicians are the ones who treated the emperor. If my grandfather couldn't cure epilepsy, could a country bumpkin do it? Wang Meifeng said with a smile. Just because of these conservative people, the Qing dynasty ended up collapsing. If your grandfather had been a little more modest, perhaps you would still be an imperial physician. Dr. Wang was so angry that his beard was bristling. Nonsense! Chapter 140 Making Skincare Products. Home Visit to Express Gratitude _3. Wang Meifeng smiled and said, Whether it's nonsense or a miracle, Dr. Wang will know once he examines Guobao. Dr. Wang took a seat on the chair and gestured towards Yang Guobao. Come here, young man. Yang Guobao sat opposite Dr. Wang and extended his hand. Dr. Wang began to take his pulse. The atmosphere became tense as Dr. Wang's eyebrows furrowed deeper and deeper, a look of disbelief in his eyes. Impossible. This can't be possible. How could there be someone in the world who can cure epilepsy? Zhou Suhua, standing on the side, nervously wiped her tears. Dr. Wang, is Guobao all right? Dr. Wang didn't speak. He just gave Zhou Suhua a look asking her to stay quiet. Seeing this, Zhou Suhua became even more nervous. Was Yang Guobao beyond help? If that was the case, she was ready to fight Wang Meifeng till the end. To be certain his diagnosis was not flawed, Dr. Wang checked several times before looking up at Wang Meifeng. Can you show me your medicinal prescription from last time? Wang Meifeng nodded and took out her prescription from her bag. After looking for a long time, he found nothing unusual. This prescription, in his view, contained only common ingredients. At most, it could be used as a supplement. How could it have the effect of curing epilepsy? Dr. Wang took a deep breath. Looking at Wang Meifeng, he steadied his voice. Are you sure your child wasn't taking any other medicine while he was taking this? Wang Meifeng nodded. I am sure. She personally brewed the medicine. How could there be a mistake? Amazing! Truly amazing! Exclaimed Dr. Wang. The ancient medicine of China is truly miraculous. Zhou Suhua blinked, then asked, Dr. Wang, what do you mean? Dr. Wang looked at Zhou Suhua and said, Congratulations to you all. Guobao in your family has been completely cured. He will never have a seizure again. What? Cured? Really cured? Dr. Wang, are you serious? Zhou Suhua nearly thought she was hallucinating. Dr. Wang, looking somewhat annoyed, said, Although I, Wang, am not as skilled as some, I've never lied. If it wasn't for seeing it with his own eyes, he wouldn't have believed that there was a cure for epilepsy. It seemed there really were people beyond people and sky beyond sky. Zhou Suhua was overcome with joy, crying as she hugged Yang Guobao, unable to form a single word. Yang Guobao patted Zhou Suhua on the back, comforting her. Grandma, be good. Don't cry. Dr. Wang looked towards Wang Meifeng. Comrade, could you introduce me to the young divine doctor who cured Guobao? I have some medical questions I would like to ask. Dr. Wang was not a blindly arrogant man. Facing a truly skilled doctor, he sincerely wanted to learn and improve his own medical skills. Wang Meifeng smiled and said, I can't make the decision on her behalf. When I get the chance, I'll ask her for you. This matter still had to be agreed upon by N.I. Yang. Otherwise, what would it mean to bring Dr. Wang to N.I. Yang's home uninvited? Wang Meifeng was not someone who was inconsiderate. Dr. Wang nodded, expressing his understanding. Then what's your phone number? I'll make a note of it. Wang Meifeng wrote her number down for Dr. Wang. After leaving Dr. Wang's clinic, Zhou Suhua was still tear-streaked. She had never imagined that Yang Guobao's disease would truly be cured. Yang Guobao was 7 years old this year. He had been sick for 7 long years, sometimes even falling ill twice a day when it was severe. Because of this, although he was the age to begin school, Yang Guobao had yet to make it. He also didn't have any friends willing to play with him, except for Mo Hudi, who shared the same affliction. As his grandmother, Zhou Suhua was heartbroken every time she thought of these things. Mom, stop crying. The storm is over now. Wang Meifeng comforted. She knew her mother-in-law's temper, and she knew Wang Meifeng was angry because she was worried about Yang Guobao. Zhou Suhua hugged Wang Meifeng, her voice choked with emotion. I'm sorry, Meifeng. I'm sorry for how I treated you in Guobao. If Wang Meifeng had not insisted on taking Yang Guobao for treatment in the countryside, they would have missed the opportunity for his recovery. Speaking of recovery, it really was like a rebirth. This was a new life for Yang Guobao. Every time Zhou Suhua thought about what could have happened if Wang Meifeng had capitulated to her, she felt a wave of fear. Chapter 141, Making Skincare Products. Door-to-door appreciation _4. Thankfully, none of that happened. Thankfully, it was her being too domineering. It was her who had wronged Wang Meifeng and her son. Her domineering nature nearly caused the death of Yang Guobao. I've been a wicked mother-in-law, Meifeng. I'm sorry. I won't be like this anymore, Mom. It's all right. Wang Meifeng continued. I don't blame you. You don't have to speak ill of yourself. Hearing Wang Meifeng say this, Zhou Suhua was moved beyond words. She never thought her daughter-in-law could forgive her. At the moment, her guilt became even deeper. Meifeng, thank you. Zhou Suhua held Wang Meifeng's hand, shedding tears of gratitude. Thank you for forgiving me. Yang Changzheng said from the side. Meifeng, me too. I need to apologize to you. I'm not a good father. I failed you and our son. If Wang Meifeng were as weak as him, then Yang Guobao would have been truly hopeless. Thinking about this, Yang Changzheng fell into endless self-reproach. You really aren't a good father. Wang Meifeng looked up at Yang Changzheng. Guobao and I were in the countryside for so long. Did you visit us once? Write us a letter? Make a single phone call? Ask yourself, what kind of husband are you? What kind of father are you? Her husband was good at everything, but he listened to his mother too much. Whatever Zhou Suhua said, Yang Changzheng didn't dare to oppose. All decisions, big and small, were made by Zhou Suhua. Wang Meifeng wasn't someone to be bullied easily. She could let things slide with her mother-in-law, as a senior, but not with her husband. She had to use this opportunity to make Yang Changzheng reflect. Hearing this, Yang Changzheng hung his head even lower. Zhou Suhua spoke tearfully. Meifeng, don't blame Changzheng. It's all my fault. I stopped Changzheng from visiting you. Wang Meifeng continued. Mom, don't interfere in this. Changzheng is 30 years old, not 3. He should have grown up long ago and be capable of making independent decisions. He can't rely on you for his whole life. What if one day you're not here anymore? Who's he going to rely on then? Upon hearing these words, Zhou Suhua immediately hung her head in shame. Their son was already a married man. She really shouldn't interfere so much. She should give her son and daughter-in-law their own space. With a stern face, Wang Meifeng warned, Yang Changzheng, if you continue like this, we should stop living together. Hearing this, Zhou Suhua was about to intervene, but recalling Wang Meifeng's words, she shut her mouth. She would never interfere in her son and daughter-in-law's matters again. Yang Changzheng immediately held up 3 fingers, promising, Meifeng, rest assured, I won't do that anymore. From now on, you'll be in charge at home. I will listen to you, and I swear, if you say go east, I will never go west. Wang Meifeng's expression softened a bit. Let's see how you perform. Finally, Yang Changzheng sighed with relief. So, Meifeng, you forgive me? I already told you, it depends on your performance. Wang Meifeng continued. Let's go home now. Yang Changzheng nodded. The 4 of them got into the car. When the car arrived at a big mall, Zhou Suhua said, Changzheng, stop for a moment. What's the matter, Mom? Yang Changzheng looked back. Do you need to buy something? Zhou Suhua continued. Thanks to the young divine Dr. Ni Yang, Guobao is now healed. We can't forget our benefactor. Tomorrow, let's go to Jinghua village personally to thank the young divine Dr. Ni Yang. Right now, Zhou Suhua was most grateful to Ni Yang. She even changed her nickname from the Barefoot Doctor to the young divine Dr. Ni Yang. Okay. Wang Meifeng nodded in agreement. You're always so thoughtful, Mom. The 4 of them went into the mall. Because Ni Yang had saved Yang Guobao, Zhou Suhua was not worried about spending money. She chose expensive items, including fruit and nutritional supplements. Upon learning that Ni Yang had a little sister who was just over 3 months old, Zhou Suhua spent 980 yuan and bought 2 small gold bracelets and a longevity lock. In addition, Zhou Suhua also bought quite a few things for Gobeo's grandparents. It's worth noting that Zhou Suhua used to look down on villages in the past and never treated Gobeo's grandparents as if they were her own family. In Zhou Suhua's eyes, she always thought that Wang Meifeng marrying Yang Changzheng was marrying above her station. But that would not be the case anymore. From now on, she will strive to be a good mother-in-law, good grandmother. Noticing the change in her mother-in-law, Wang Meifeng suddenly felt that all the grievances she suffered in the past were nothing. The Ni family's courtyard. Ni Yang and Ni Tsuehua were sitting by the well, washing vegetables and chatting. Chapter 142, Making Skincare Products. Home visit to thank_5. Little Anai Yun lay in her cradle nearby, holding a rattle and a little yellow duck, playing on her own, neither crying nor being troublesome, behaving very well. The courtyard seemed incredibly warm and cozy. The task of washing 200 pounds of vegetables was time-consuming. By the time Anai Yang finished washing and salting the vegetables, it was already past 5 in the afternoon, and the sun began its descent. Anai Yang then started preparing dinner. When she saw the green peas the boss had given her while buying vegetables earlier, she suddenly had an idea. First she peeled off the peas, scooped up 2 ladles of glutinous rice, washed them, and soaked them in a casserole. Then Anai Yang found the cured meat she had bought a few days ago, cut them into pieces and sautéed them in a pan. She then added green onions, ginger, garlic, and soy sauce to enhance the flavor, followed by adding the peas and stir-frying them together. Once they were about 70% cooked, she scooped the sautéed cured meat and peas into the casserole with the rice, and finally stove-cooked it to make a rice casserole. This is known as cured meat and green peas casserole rice, a variation of the traditional clay pot rice. After the main course was prepared, Anai Yang began to prepare side dishes. She pulled out the menu. Tonight's main dishes were 1. Stir-fried spicy bamboo shoots. Compendium of Materia Medica states, bamboo shoots are mainly used to quench thirst and benefit the urinary tract. Bamboo shoots can reduce intestinal cholesterol absorption, lower blood lipids, prevent constipation, and effectively eliminate waste and toxins from the body. They are excellent weight loss foods that can effectively maintain perfect body shape. They had eaten a lot of meat these past few days. It's just right to have bamboo shoots to control body shape and prevent weight gain. Beef bone marrow stewed egg. The eggs were those sent by Penghu in the morning, and the beef bone marrow was from the big beef bones Anai Yang bought at the vegetable market yesterday, which were filled with marrow. Compendium of Materia Medica states, beef bone marrow moisturizes the lungs, nourishes the kidneys, moisturizes the skin, and brightens the complexion. Therefore, beef bone marrow can effectively moisturize the skin. After deciding on the 2 main dishes, she only needed to make a soup. When she saw the tofu that Taidon mother had sent over, Anai Yang suddenly thought of vegetable tofu soup. Yes, she decided to make a vegetable tofu soup. Anai Yang immediately rolled up her sleeves and started cooking. The night gradually darkened, and the fragrance in the small kitchen became stronger. In no time, the perfect set of 2 dishes and a soup was ready, and together with the glutinous rice cooked with cured meat and peas, there was more than enough for the 3 of them. Due to the addition of cured meat and peas, the glutinous rice was very delicious. Biting into it, it was soft and sticky, and when you bit into a pea, there was a burst of flavor making it extremely delicious. The vegetable tofu soup balanced out the greasiness of the glutinous rice, so delicious it made one question life. Anai Chingue exclaimed, Yang Yang, how many delicious foods can you cook? She felt that every dish Anai Yang cooked every day was different, and each dish was staggering in its taste. Even a simple vegetable tofu soup tasted extraordinarily delicious when Anai Yang cooked it. Anai Yang just smiled. Actually, I'm only cooking what I know how to cook. Anai Chingue said, Yang Yang, I suspect you can cook a Manchu Han imperial feast, but I have no evidence. Anai Yang laughed lightly. No, I just know a little bit more than most people. Anai Chingue laughed and said, Yang Yang, you are just too modest. Anai Yang held up a piece of bamboo shoot. Modesty is a virtue? Anai Tsuehua jokingly said from the side, Sister Chingue, don't praise this girl anymore. If you continue to praise her, her little tail will rise to the sky. After dinner, Anai Yang returned to her room and counted the money she had left. Excluding the 25,400 yuan used to buy the shop, the 930 paid to the workers, and the everyday expenses of the last few days, she had 2,550 yuan in total. With 2,550 yuan, besides not being able to buy big items like a fridge or a color TV, she had more than enough to equip her business with the other necessities. Therefore, she was not in a hurry to make money at the moment, planning to spend this month on recuperation and recharge. When the new shop opens, there will be plenty to do. Moreover, She did not expect to make a living solely from selling noodles. And Ai Yang has big ambitions, having lived for 2 lifetimes. She either does not do something or does it to the best. She will blaze a trail and create a golden era that belongs to an Ai Yang. That night, an Ai Yang probably had the best sleep since her rebirth. She slept until past 6 in the morning, never getting up at 3 in the morning anymore, unlike her old routine when she had to get up to set up her stall. Meanwhile, Anai Daju and Lu Wan woke up early and took a rare day off. Chapter 143, Making Skincare Products. Home visit to give thanks _6. Because today marks the beginning of a new month, it meant that the stall Anai Yang had been renting was now theirs. If Anai Yang wanted to continue her business, she would have to scheme it out of them. All the way there, the smiles never left the faces of the family of 3. Daju, what do you think that bitch Anai Yang's face will look like when she sees us? Anai Daju proudly replied. She must be shocked, and then beg us on her knees to give her her stall back. Give it back to her? Lu Wan scoffed. On what grounds should we return it to her? We are the owners of this stall now. How dare she try and take it away from me? Remember, be tough with her. Make that bitch hand over all her money. If not, tell her to drop dead and disappear. Anai Yang was now destined to be as helpless as a piece of meat on a chopping board. Think she could escape? No way. A lowly bitch from the countryside. Does she think she can turn the tide? Anai Daju nodded in agreement. Don't worry, Wan. I won't mess this up. Lu Wan began to instruct Lu Xiangxiang again. Xiangxiang, remember to be smart when that bitch hands over the money. Make sure not to collect the wrong amount. I've checked already. The pickled fish noodles go for 3 cents a bowl, and the sour plum soup for 1 cent a bowl. Unusually, Lu Xiangxiang didn't argue with Lu Wan. Instead, she obediently said, I've got it, Mom. Don't worry. I won't make a mistake. Do you think I don't put my education to use? Lu Wan nodded in satisfaction. That's my girl. So much better than that bitch. Indeed. Lu Xiangxiang raised her chin proudly and said disdainfully, what does that bumpkin Anai Yang have that can match up to me? Besides being somewhat attractive, Anai Yang was worth nothing, and she was going to college. The family of 3 arrived at Anai Yang's usual business spot. But strangely, the stall was vacant. There were no signs of Anai Yang, let alone any people lining up for noodles. That was unexpected. Lu Wan had secretly observed that usually around 5:30, people would start lining up. It was already 5:40. Why was there not a single person in line? Did everyone else wake up late? Lu Wan frowned. Anai Daju didn't take note of these details. He just sat in the middle of the stall, ready to assert his authority over Anai Yang at any moment. Did that bitch think she could outsmart him, her uncle? Ha! Bet she's in for a surprise. No matter what, he would always be her uncle. Lu Wan walked over to Anai Daju and shared her observations with him. Hearing this, Anai Daju said casually, what's there to worry about? Do you really think that bitch Anai Yang is good at business and has customers every day? Let's wait a bit longer. Maybe the bitch will show up soon. What Anai Daju said wasn't unreasonable, so Lu Wan nodded in agreement. With each passing minute, it was now past 6 o'clock, but there was still no sign of Anai Yang. Lu Xiangxiang was restless, pacing in circles. Mom, Dad, do you think it's possible that the hillbilly Anai Yang won't show up this morning? No, of course not, Lu Wan reassured. Anai Yang will definitely come. Just then, a few customers showed up. They greeted warmly. Are all of you here for the pickled vegetable noodles too? You probably don't know yet, but the boss won't set up her stall here anymore. Better head back early, or you'll just waste your time waiting. If you're really craving for pickled vegetable noodles, there is another stall over there. Although it doesn't taste as good as the boss, it's still better than nothing, right? The boss won't set up her stall here anymore. She's gone. This news struck the family of 3 like a bolt from the blue. They were dumbfounded and couldn't react for a long time. If Anai Yang won't set up her stall here anymore, then who were they going to get money from? Lu Wan was the first to come to her senses. She grabbed a passerby's arm and asked, "Sir, is it true that Ni Yang has stopped doing business here? But she was here just yesterday, wasn't she?" The passerby explained. "Yesterday was the boss' last day here. But don't worry, you can still have the boss pickled fish noodles because she will open for business again." Upon hearing this, Lu Wan let out a sigh of relief and then asked, "So, when exactly will she start her business again?" The passerby continued, "She probably won't come back here. The boss bought a shop opposite the library. She's currently renovating it and plans to reopen on the 2nd of next month." Chapter 144, Making Skincare Products. Home visit to express thanks _7 Ni Yang bought a shop. She actually bought a shop. After that, Lu Wan couldn't hear anything else. She felt a surge of blood to her head, blacked out, and fell unconscious right away. "Wanner! Mom!" And I Daju, frightened, quickly pressed Lu Wan's Renjong acupoint. After a while, Lu Wan slowly opened her eyes. The moment she opened her eyes, she started beating and berating Ni Daju. "You damn coward! Why don't you go die? You can't even keep a country bumpkin in check. My money, you have to get my money back right now. 300 yuan. She invested everything she had just to lease this lousy stall. She had originally planned to skin Ni Yang for a big pot of cash. But now, not only did she not get the money, but she also lost 300 yuan instead." Lu Wan's rage was about to explode. Why did that sneaky Ni Yang go out and buy a shop? At that moment, Lu Wan was both jealous and green with envy. Her heart was filled with mixed emotions, and she felt extremely miserable. Lu Xiangxiang was also sitting by the side, crying and making a fuss. "My money, I want my money." She had already picked out the clothes and cosmetics she wanted to buy, and had even planned to use the money she took back today to buy a nice-looking wig. Now it all came to nothing. She couldn't accept it. Why did Ni Yang secretly buy a shop behind their backs? Lu Wan hit hard. Ni Daz's face that had just recovered from bruises was again covered with fresh ones, as if spring had come after the rain. Ni Daju didn't dare to complain. He could only curse Ni Yang 1,000 times in his heart. Ni Yang had no idea what happened over here. At this time, she was squatting in the yard brushing her teeth. After brushing her teeth, she noticed a small pimple on her forehead while washing her face. For someone who loves beauty, having pimples is a big deal. It seems that simply relying on nutrition from food isn't enough. Skincare products also need to be used in order to maintain flawless and fair skin. Moreover, winter is coming, and the skin on the face and hands will crack in the cold wind. She needs to take care of her skin. There aren't many skincare products in this era. The most famous one is the snowflake cream, followed by the clam oil packed in shells. The clam oil is affordable but doesn't provide much skincare benefit. Snowflake cream is too expensive for ordinary people to afford, and some imported skincare products are even more ridiculously priced. Just then, an idea flashed across Ni Yang's mind. She could make her own skincare products. With her previous life experience and medical knowledge, she wasn't afraid of getting poisoned. She thought so and acted immediately. After wiping her face casually, Ni Yang carried a pair of scissors and headed towards the vegetable garden. Apart from vegetables, there are aloe vera and medicinal herbs planted in the garden. Aloe vera has excellent skincare and pimple-drying properties, as well as excellent hydration benefits. Ni Yang planned to make a face wash and aloe gel with aloe vera. The aloe vera grew very well, from originally 3 plants to over a dozen plants now, which were very plump and thick thanks to Ni Quihua's regular watering and fertilizing, appearing forest green and dripping with vigor. Ni Yang snipped a full basket of aloe vera leaves with a kacha sound before heading back. Seeing Ni Yang carrying back aloe leaves, Ni Chengue exclaimed surprisingly, "No way, Yang. Can these aloe leaves be eaten too?" Because Ni Yang's culinary skills are really good. This causes Ni Chengue to immediately think of food whenever he sees Ni Yang carrying anything. Ni Yang smiled and said, "No, I plan to use it to make facial cleanser and aloe vera gel." Facial cleanser? Ni Chengue asked curiously, "Is it a type of milk drink?" "No, you can't drink it," Ni Yang explained. "It's for washing your face, cleansing your skin." "Oh, and I Chungue nodded his head in semi-understanding. Then what is aloe vera gel? Is it also for washing your face? And I Chungue continued asking. Aloe vera gel is for applying to your face. It has acne-removing and hydrating effects. And I Yang continued. Once I've made it, Auntie and I, you can try it and you'll know. Excitement immediately appeared in N.I. Chengui's eyes. The process of making a facial cleanser is not complicated. First, wash the aloe and peel it, then place it in a mortar and mash it. Following that, gradually mix in a spoonful of honey and half a cup of milk to form a milky substance. Because there was no milk at home, N.I. Yang specially went to Zaiwa's house in the village, which had dairy cows, to buy a can of milk. But Zaiwa's grandmother was insistent on not taking money. N.I. Yang laughed and said, Granny, if you're not taking the money, I want Dare to come to your house to buy milk next time. Our village is so far from the city, do you really want to see me running all the way there? Helpless, Zaiwa's grandmother finally took the money, but instantly asked Xiaohua to send over a basket of homemade vermicelli. Xiaohua squatted next to N.I. Yang and curiously asked, Sister N.I. Yang, what are you doing? N.I. Yang explained to Xiaohua about the facial cleanser and aloe vera gel. After hearing the explanation, Xiaohua exclaimed in surprise, Sister N.I. Yang, you're so amazing. Soon, the facial cleanser was ready. Next up was the production of the aloe vera gel. The production of aloe vera gel is also quite simple. Just peel the aloe and slice it, then mash it into pulp. However, if you want the aloe vera gel to be more effective, you need to add some distilled water, but making distilled water isn't that simple. Therefore, N.I. Yang kept busy until after 9 o'clock before she managed to make the aloe vera gel. After making the facial cleanser and aloe vera gel, N.I. Yang tried them out. The facial cleanser even foamed up well, and the effects were fantastic. After washing, she could see that her skin had become significantly smoother. After applying the aloe vera gel to her face, it was absorbed very quickly. In no time, the color of the pimples on N.I. Yang's face started to fade substantially. When Xiaohua was leaving, N.I. Yang filled some small jam jars with aloe vera gel and facial cleanser for Xiaohua to take home for her mother to use. Xiaohua responded politely, Thank you for the facial cleanser and aloe vera gel, Sister N.I. Yang. My mom will definitely like them. N.I. Yang smiled and asked, You know how to use them, right? Xiaohua nodded. Don't worry, Sister N.I. Yang. I understand. Xiaohua was clever after all, and had just watched N.I. Yang do everything from the side. How could she possibly not know? After seeing Xiaohua off, N.I. Yang turned back to the room to let N.I. Tsuehua try the aloe vera gel and facial cleanser. When suddenly, there were footsteps outside the door. Yang, is Yang home? Then came Yang Gobeo's voice. Sister N.I. Yang. I'm here. N.I. Yang stepped out and saw that it was Wang Meifeng and Yang Guobao who had come. Behind the mother and son were a party of 3, 2 elderly and 1 young, carrying big and small bags of things. Auntie Wang, Guobao. N.I. Yang greeted them with a smile. Wang Meifeng followed up. Yang, let me introduce you. These are Gobeo's grandparents and this is my husband, Yang Chongjing. Dad, Mom, Chongjing, this is N.I. Yang, the young divine doctor who cured Guobao. Although Zhou Suhua had known that N.I. Yang was very young, she was still very shocked after seeing N.I. Yang in person. Moreover, she couldn't have imagined that N.I. Yang was this beautiful. She could be a movie star. This temperament, this appearance, if you said she was from the countryside, people might not believe it. Young divine doctor, thank you for curing our Guobao. You are our young family's living bodhisattva. Thank you. Zhou Suhua grabbed N.I. Yang's hand, her speech becoming incoherent out of excitement. Chapter 145 Another Source of Wealth. N.I. Daju goes to prison. N.I. Yang smiled and said, You don't have to be like this. Saving lives as a doctor is our responsibility. As for being a divine doctor, I dare not claim to be one. There are too many people in China who have far superior medical skills than me. Her voice was gentle and filled with a light smile. There was no arrogance or self-complacency in her expression. Neither was there a smug satisfaction from curing a stubborn illness. Instead, she was humble and content. giving people a very comfortable feeling upon looking at her. Zhou Suhua looked at Enai Yang, her face full of smiles. Enai Yang continued, "We shouldn't stand here. Let's go inside." Behind her, Yang Dehai and Yang Chongjing entered the house, carrying bundles. The house was a simple countryside abode, without any valuable furniture. The simple tables and stools showed its neatness, making it feel very warm and cozy. The air was filled with a faint scent of magnolia. Zhou Suhua followed the scent and saw a dried magnolia flower on the windowsill. The dried magnolia was not as bright as when it was fresh, but it was still beautiful. She didn't know what methods the owner used to preserve the fresh magnolia flower in this manner, but it reflected the owner's elegant character. Although the life seemed frugal, it had a high degree of ritual feeling, and this feeling was just great. Enai Yang was busy brewing tea for everyone. At this moment, Enai Tsuehua came out from the inner room carrying the child. When she saw the people in the room, she was slightly startled. Enai Yang promptly introduced everyone to Enai Tsuehua. "Mom, these are Gobeo's grandparents and his father." Enai Tsuehua then reacted and greeted everyone with a smile. Enai Tsuehua no longer carried the inferiority complex from 3 months ago when she first came to the city. In its place was a deep-seated sense of confidence. She was completely different from before. Zhou Suhua held Enai Quihua's hand and said, "Yang Yang's mother, you have raised an amazing daughter. If it weren't for her, where would our Guobao be now?" Enai Tsuehua replied modestly, "Grandma Guobao, you don't have to be so polite. Our Yang Yang hasn't really done much, she just wrote a prescription." Enai Tsuehua is a very honest person. Although she was proud of her daughter in her heart, she didn't think this merited a grand visit from the Yang family to show their gratitude. After all, saving lives is a good deed that accumulates virtue, and it's not something to show off. Despite being just a prescription, it did save the life of Yang Guobao. Zhou Suhua was extremely grateful to Enai Yang, and also came to a realization. No wonder Enai Yang was so mature and understanding at her young age. It turned out that she had a good mother who taught by example. Enai Yang brought the freshly brewed tea to everyone. Zhou Suhua and Yang Dehai took a sip. The couple exchanged glances, their eyes filled with disbelief. This tea was different from ordinary tea. Not only did it have a refreshing tea fragrance, but upon careful tasting, there was a sweet fruity flavor mixed in. It was refreshing and sweet, quenching thirst, and the aftertaste was endless. Yang Dehai, who had been professionally tasting tea for over 20 years, has never tasted such excellent tea. "Little divine doctor, what kind of tea is this?" Seeing his father's excitement, Yang Chongjing immediately picked up his cup and took a sip. Indeed, the taste of the tea was truly astonishing. Even he, someone who didn't usually drink tea, found it incredibly pleasing to the palate, and Yang Chongjing could not help but take another big gulp. Enai Yang continued, "It's just ordinary green tea. However, when I was roasting the tea leaves, I added some dried tangerine peels and dried fruits. That's why it has a fruity flavor that ordinary tea leaves don't have." Yang Dehai nodded. "No wonder I felt a fruity taste when I tried it. Little divine doctor, you are truly remarkable." It should be noted that roasting tea leaves is not something an ordinary person can do. Not only does it require control over the heat, but it also demands certain skills. Otherwise, the tea leaves could be overcooked or burnt, affecting the taste. But the taste of this tea was just right. Without a solid 10 or more years of experience, it would be impossible to roast such tea leaves. Moreover, Enai Yang had added other things to the tea, making it even harder to roast. Yang Guobao immediately stood up, raised his adorable little head, and said proudly, "That's right, Grandpa. My sister Enai Yang is amazing. She knows how to do everything." In Yang Gobeo's heart, Enai Yang was like a talented little fairy. Not only was she pretty, but she also had medical skills, could cook, bake bread, and even roast tea leaves. What to do? He was starting to like Sister Enai Yang even more. Chapter 146, Another Source of Wealth. Enai Daju goes to prison _2. Zhou Suhua took little Enai Yun from Enai Quihua's arms. "What a cute child she is. What's her name? Her name is Ni Yun. Yun as in cloud. Ni Tsuehua said. Yun Yun, little Yun Yun. Not only does little Yun Yun have a pretty name, but she's also very beautiful. Zhou Suhua, who was very fond of little Ni Yun, said with her eyes full of affectionate smiles. Oh yes, we also brought a welcome gift for little Yun Yun. Mei Feng, quickly bring out the gift. Wang Mei Feng immediately took out a red gift box from her bag. In the box were a longevity lock and 2 gold bracelets. These gold jewelry must cost at least 1,000 yuan, said Ni Tsuehua nervously. Grandma Guobao, you really don't need to be so polite. We can't accept such a big gift. You should accept. Zhou Suhua smiled. It's not something valuable. Ni Yang's mom. Ni Yang is a living bodhisattva to our entire family. You must not refuse. Look how pretty our little Yun Yun looks wearing these. Little Ni Yun, with her fair and plump appearance, was extremely likable. Now, with the gold bracelets and the longevity lock, she looked like a delightful Fua doll that had stepped out of a New Year's painting. The gold bracelet came with a small bell. Whenever little Ni Yun moved, the bell would tinkle, producing a pleasant sound that lifted everyone's spirits. While Ni Tsuehua was entertaining the guests in the living room, Ni Yang went into the kitchen to cook. It was past 10 now. By the time she finished cooking, it would be almost noon, just in time for lunch. She planned to cook sour fish, braised pork belly, spicy fried river snails, and a roasted chicken as the main courses. As for the side dishes, she would make black fungus with milk cabbage and stir-fried cabbage with vermicelli. The vermicelli was a gift from Xiaohua. It was homemade and not only healthy and free of pollution, but also had a great texture. She would also prepare a cold mixed liangpi as a chilled dish. Ni Yang looked and found a chunk of tofu left over from what Taidon mother had given her the day before. She decided to make shrimp and tofu soup with it. Meat and vegetables are paired well with fish, meat, and chicken all included. Although there are only 7 dishes and 1 soup, it is an incredibly sumptuous meal for the average person during this era. Once the menu was finalized, Ni Yang started the bread oven and then went to slaughter the big rooster they had bought the day before. Although Ni Yang looked fair and pretty as a girl, she was very decisive when it came to slaughtering the chicken. With one hand holding the chicken and the other holding the kitchen knife, the scene was somewhat bloody, but it gave a sense of tranquility. Wang Meifeng came over to help Ni Yang pluck the chicken's feathers. Ni Yang grinned and said, Auntie Wang, you don't need to help. I can handle it myself. Wang Meifeng laughed and said, Not a problem, I'm free. It wouldn't be fair for them all to idle around, while Ni Yang had to cook the meal by herself. Having grown up in the village, Wang Meifeng, even though she had later moved to the city, was still quite proficient in these chores. She quickly finished plucking the chicken feathers, then washed the chicken and went on to clean the other vegetables. Despite Ni Yang's efforts to stop her, she carried on. After washing the vegetables, Wang Meifeng sat down by the stove to start the fire. The flame reflected in Wang Meifeng's smiling face, while the sound of stir-frying and the delicious aroma began to fill the kitchen. Despite having eaten Ni Yang's cooking before, Wang Meifeng couldn't help but be amazed. She was truly amazing. Despite being only 17, Ni Yang was already far superior to many adults. She was truly a lady who was equally proficient in the affairs of the hall and the kitchen. Around noon, Ni Yang had perfectly prepared the 7 dishes with 1 soup. The dining room table was filled with constant exclamations of admiration. Delicious! The taste is spot on. Little divine doctor, you're so amazing. Zhou Suhua had never imagined that even river snails could be cooked to be so tasty. After all, they were usually used as duck feed. The braised pork belly was sweet and fragrant, tender and rich but not greasy, melting in the mouth. The roasted chicken was incredibly crispy, baked to perfection with a tender inside, and each bite resulted in a delicious burst of flavor. Of all, the most outstanding one was the sour fish. The caudal fish was coated with starch and egg liquid, which made it tender, refreshing, appetizing, and perfect for eating with rice. Combined with the sour and spicy taste of pickled cabbage and hot pepper, it was mouth-wateringly good. After finishing the fish, one would surely crave to drink all the soup. Even at a fancy restaurant, it would be hard to find such delicious dishes. Who would have thought that a beautiful young girl with impressive medical skills can cook so well too? The taste was simply astonishing. Little divine doctor, how did you roast this chicken? Yang Changzheng curiously inquired. He didn't see any grill in the house, and since the chicken was served hot, it couldn't have been bought. Moreover, things like roasted chicken or duck were in short supply and hard to find. Chapter 147 Another Source of Wealth. Ni Daju goes to prison _3. Ni Yang explained, it was baked in an outdoor bread oven. A bread oven? Yang Changzheng stood up and asked, could I see it? Of course. Ni Yang nodded. Seeing Ni Yang nod, Guobao excitedly said, Dad, he'll show you. Ni Yang and I built this bread oven together. Guobao led Yang Changzheng to the courtyard. The bread oven was located in the corner of the yard. It wasn't large and was shaped like a bear's head. Below it, dry logs were stacked. On the left side of the bear head, 2 little figures were drawn with the words, Summer 1983, Sister and Guobao beside them. The first few words were written boldly, the latter few somewhat childish, yet combined, they were not incongruous but rather endearingly artistic. This bread oven was personally made by your sister Ni Yang? Yang Changzheng asked in disbelief. Guobao nodded. Yes, Ni Yang is incredibly talented. Dad, let me tell you, this bread oven is amazing too. It can not only roast chicken but also bake bread and dry fruit. Thinking about all the food, Guobao's eyes sparkled. Hearing this, Yang Changzheng was full of awe. Actually, this was not his first encounter with a bread oven. He had seen them during his overseas business trips as bread ovens produce superior results compared to conventional ovens. Hence, they are common in foreign households. However, this was the first time he had seen a bread oven in his own country. Making a bread oven may seem simple, but it is actually complex and requires professional skills. He couldn't imagine how a young girl like Ni Yang managed to build this. This young girl was far stronger than she appeared on the surface. Even Yang Changzheng, an adult, felt he couldn't compare. Having spent over 3 months in the countryside, Guobao was familiar with the surroundings. He took Yang Changzheng around for a stroll, and after a while, their grandfather Yang Dehai also came out. In the living room, the women were engaged in a lively conversation. Zhou Suhua, being a leader in her workplace before retiring, was not as easygoing as ordinary people. What surprised Wang Meifeng was how well she got along with Ni Tsuehua. Indeed, it must be fate. Ni Yang was sipping tea, the steam curling around her flawless skin, causing Wang Meifeng to envy her. Yang, your skin is so good, unlike mine, which is always acting up during this season. Ni Yang laughed shyly. Noticing a few red spots on Wang Meifeng's face, she advised, Aunt Wang, I think you have dry skin. The spots could have been caused by inappropriate skincare products. Be sure to hydrate your skin. Wang Meifeng replied, my skin has always been like this. It gets extremely dry in winter and easily breaks out in small bumps. Speaking of skin issues, Wang Meifeng indeed felt frustrated. She had tried numerous skincare products, both domestic and imported, but to no avail. In fact, some even aggravated her condition. Right now, during early autumn, the problem wasn't so apparent. But by late autumn and winter, her face would be covered with dry skin and red spots. Not a pretty sight. So, every time autumn and winter rolled around, Wang Meifeng wouldn't feel like stepping out, let alone going to work. Aunt Wang, please wait a moment. Ni Yang suddenly stood up and walked toward the house. Wang Meifeng was puzzled. In a short while, Ni Yang returned, holding 2 small white porcelain jars. Aunt, try these. I made them myself. This one is for washing your face and this one is for applying. The small porcelain containers were originally for storing pills, but Ni Yang couldn't find suitable containers for her face wash and aloe vera gel. So she improvised using the small jars. For washing face? Wang Meifeng curiously asked, is it face powder? In that era, face wash hadn't been invented yet, but face powder, for instance, one produced by Haidu, a 4-in-1 face powder, was quite famous. Wang Meifeng had used it before, but it didn't work for her. And Yang explained with a smile, "It's a face wash. You use it just like a face powder, but its effectiveness is superior, especially for your dry skin type." Chapter 148, Another Source of Wealth. Enai Daju goes to prison _4. In her previous life, Enai Yang was also a beauty enthusiast who put a lot of work into her skincare. She could instantly identify any skin issues. Wang Meifeng opened the lid of the porcelain jar and took a sniff. It faintly smelled lovely with a hint of milk. No wonder it was called a cleansing milk. "And this one?" asked Wang Meifeng. "This is aloe vera gel," Enai Yang continued. "You apply it on your face after washing with the cleansing milk." Wang Meifeng nodded and smilingly put the 2 little jars away. Yang, I want stand on ceremony then. Every heart has a love for beauty. Enai Yang is so capable, the things she produced must not be bad. What if they really worked? Enai Yang smiled and said, "No need for that." Time flew by and soon it was past 3 in the afternoon, and Wang Meifeng and the others proposed their farewells. Because Yang Chongjing really liked the tea leaves that Enai Yang had fried, she packed a large bucket of tea leaves for them. Chinese are polite and reciprocate kindness. Enai Yang couldn't let them return empty-handed. Initially, Yang Dahai wouldn't accept it. They were treated well here by Enai Yang, and she was also so polite and not arrogant like a divine doctor at all. How could they accept her things? Don't underestimate the tea, frying it takes a fair amount of time. But Enai Yang insisted again and again. "Grandpa Yang, you brought so many gifts. This is just a small gesture from me. If you don't accept it, I might not welcome you next time to our house as a guest." Upon hearing this, Yang Dahai had no choice but to accept the tea. "In that case, I'll accept it gratefully. Little divine doctor, we are all friends now. You must bring your mother and sister to our home sometime and get familiar with the place." Enai Yang nodded. "Sure, Grandpa Yang. I'll definitely come over when I have the chance." Yang Dahai looked at Enai Yang with admiration in his eyes. This little girl was really understanding. If it was his granddaughter, he would wake up laughing even from a dream. "Goodbye, Sister Enai Yang. Aunt Hua, remember to visit my house when you have time." Enai Yang nodded, waving at Yang Guobao. "Goodbye, Guobao." On the other side, after Enai Daju and Lu Wan went back, they still felt unsatisfied. They were so upset they couldn't eat or drink. They had spent 300 yuan to rent that stall. 300 yuan. That's a year's worth of their hard-earned savings. No, they can't just lose 300 yuan like this. When Enai Yang was buying the shop, did she ask for Enai Daz's permission? Enai Tsuehua doesn't have a man now. Enai Daju is the only man in the Enai family. It should be Enai Daju who makes decisions for the Enai family. Buying a shop must also get the approval of Enai Daju, the head of the family. The more Lu Wan thought about it, the more she felt it was right. She looked at Enai Daju and said, "Go and demand the money from that bitch Enai Yang right now." Enai Daju sighed. "Wanner, let it go. Let's just live our lives peacefully. Even if Enai Yang has money, she's just a lowly self-employed person. We're a proud working-class family. How can she compare?" They went to Enai Yang twice. The first time they were beaten half to dead by the kids in Jinghua village. The second time they directly lost 300 yuan. Enai Daju was truly scared. "Give up!" Lu Wan shouted angrily. "Enai Daju, you are such a coward. How can you let this matter slide just like this? Enai Yang doesn't have a father and Enai Tsuehua doesn't have a man. You are the only man in the Enai family now. It's justified that Enai Yang gives you money. Go now." "Where do I go to ask for money?" "Wanner, have you forgotten what happened to us in Jinghua village?" Enai Daju asked. Although what Lu Wan said made sense, Enai Daju, not fully recovered from his injuries, was still deeply afraid of Jinghua village. "Go to the new shop that bitch just bought," Lu Wan continued. "Demand that she gives us at least 10,000 yuan every month. If she refuses, smash her shop and ruin her business. If Enai Yang won't let them live comfortably, they won't let Enai Yang live comfortably, either. If worst comes to worst, they'll fight till the bitter end. She doesn't want to give the money? No way. Lu Wan gritted her teeth and said, when you get there, don't initiate a fight. Just smash stuff. Don't let them decorate the shop. Hopefully, 'cause a whole lot of commotion. If she dares to hit you this time, don't fight back. Let her hit you. If she really causes any harm, our whole family will squat in her shop and let her take care of you in your old age. Well, drag till she collapses. Chapter 149, Another Source of Wealth. Ni Daju goes to prison _5. It's exceedingly hard for even government officials to resolve domestic disputes. Ni Yang's going to try reasoning with them? Impossible. And this time is different from before in Jinghua village, where she had the villagers on her side. Now in the city, who could help her? At this, Ni Daz's eyes lit up. Wanner, you're truly ingenious. Lu Wan proudly smiled and said, of course I am. Ni Daju added, then I'll go there tomorrow morning. All right. Lu Wan nodded. I'll come with you. The next morning, Ni Daju and Lu Wan went to Ni Yang's newly purchased shop. Upon their arrival, workers were busy renovating the place. Without uttering a word, Ni Daju snatched a wall-scraping knife from a worker's hand and flung it onto the ground, scattering the sand and cement across the entire room. Instantaneously, the place descended into chaos. Lu Wan planted herself on the floor, causing a scene by crying and cursing Ni Yang for being heartless. Who are you? One of the workers grabbed Ni Daz's wrist and angrily asked, what do you think you're doing? The other workers rolled up their sleeves, ready to fight. Dare to cause trouble here at Ni Yang's place? Are they tired of living? Ni Daju replied, who am I? I'm Ni Yang's uncle, the owner of this shop. Where is Ni Yang? Tell that bitch to come and see me. Ni Yang's uncle? Upon hearing this, Wang Jinfeng immediately started cursing. You shameless beasts, birthed but not raised by a mother. Haven't you disgraced yourself enough in Jinghua village? Now you're here to do it again? When it comes to cursing, Wang Jinfeng is a master. She is capable of 100 unique insults, each disgustingly unique. Ni Yang and Wang Tiniu were inside discussing renovation plans. Inside Twitter, when they heard the commotion outside, they both quickly rushed out. Seeing that Ni Daju was the one causing the chaos, Ni Yang stayed calm. She held back an infuriated Wang Tiniu and whispered, Uncle Tiniu, let them make a scene. The bigger, the better. Please tell Aunt Jinfeng not to interfere, and could you also make a trip to the police station? Ni Daju cannot carry on like this. There must be an end to this matter. Ni Yang was profoundly relieved that this incident drama didn't take place on the day of opening. Wouldn't that be a disaster? Hearing this, Wang Tiniu instantly understood Ni Yang's intention and immediately ran outside. He whispered something to Wang Jinfeng, who was about to roll up her sleeves and confront the pair. Wang Jinfeng then chuckled and reluctantly let down her sleeve. After speaking, Wang Tiniu quietly left the shop, while Wang Jinfeng relayed Wang's tiniest words to the others at a low volume. Oblivious to the situation, the others carried on with their work, paying no mind to Ni Daju. Upon seeing this, Ni Daju assumed that they were scared by his relation to Ni Yang, and grown even more arrogant. He rolled up his sleeves and smashed everything in sight to smithereens. Once the chaos outside had escalated to a reasonable degree, Ni Yang calmly stepped out. Ni Daju, what on earth are you doing? Ni Yang asked, enraged. Do you not realize that your actions are illegal? Illegal? Ni Daju arrogantly responded. How could it be illegal to destroy one's own property? Bitch, since you've disowned us, don't blame us for being ruthless. If you don't give us money today, don't dream of renovating this shop. His own property. Ni Yang subtly smirked. How brazen of Ni Daju to make such a claim. How disgusting. Ni Yang looked at the entrance and continued. How much are you trying to extort from me? This ungrateful bitch Ni Yang is finally scared. If she had acted like this sooner, wouldn't there be much less trouble? Ni Daju ignored Ni Yang's words. Brimming with confidence, he said, 10,000, and you will have to give us 10,000 yuan every month from no one. Just thinking about becoming a man of 10,000 yuan made Ni Daju ecstatic. That's extortion. It's hooligan behavior. Ni Yang retorted righteously, isn't there any law in your eyes? Ni Daju then arrogantly replied, in the Ni family, I am the law. If you don't pay me today, I'll tear this shabby shop apart. I'll make sure you can't do business. He's the law? That's quite ambitious. As soon as he finished speaking, Wang Tiniu led several policemen into the shop in single file. And everything that Ni Daju shamelessly claimed was heard by the police. Officer, Wang Tiniu pointed at Ni Daju and Lu Wan. It's them. They're causing trouble, extorting money. They've even destroyed so many things here. Chapter 150 Another Source of Wealth. Ni Daju goes to prison _6. Ni Daju and Lu Wan were stunned. They didn't expect the police to suddenly show up. The cold steel handcuffs were placed directly on Lu Wan and Ni Daju. You two are currently suspected of damaging private finances, provoking troubles, and extortion crimes. Please come with us immediately. During the crackdown, if these charges were confirmed, they would face prison. Lu Wan cried for innocence. Officers, it's a misunderstanding. We didn't do anything wrong. It was just a family dispute. This girl, Ni Yang, my husband Ni Daju, is her uncle. We were just having fun with her. Uncle? An uncle can commit extortion? Stir up troubles? Damage others' property? Do you have no respect for the law anymore? Framed? Just horsing around? Made such a mess of somebody's store and still have the nerve to claim it was a form of entertainment? Really thought them, the police, as blind and deaf? Ni Yang came forward and said, Officers, my name is Ni Yang, the owner of this shop. My mom was an orphan since she was young. She doesn't have any siblings at all. This person probably just grew up with my mom, but he's certainly not my uncle. Ni Dazu's original household registration had long been revoked and transferred to Lu Wan. While Ni Tsuehua also has an independent household registration, and there is no blood relationship between Ni Daju and Ni Tsuehua, it would be challenging to prove that they are siblings. The lead police officer nodded. Comrade Ni Yang, please rest assured. We, the People's Police, will bring justice to this case. Thank you, officers. Lu Wan was so angry that she cursed. You little wench Ni Yang, you don't even recognize your own uncle. Do you have a conscience? You're going to be punished by heaven one day. Ni Yang was unfazed and turned to the police officer. Officer, is insulting someone considered illegal? It is. The police officer nodded. According to our country's Security Administration punishment law, Article 10 states the penalty for security administration violation. Before the police officer finished, Lu Wan was so scared that she shut her mouth. Such a bitch. Lu Wan was so angry that she almost passed out. After collecting evidence and making records, the police took Ni Daju and Lu Wan away in their police car. 3 days later, news came from the police station. Ni Daju was sentenced to 5 years in prison for extortion and provoking troubles, while Lu Wan, being a participant in the crime, was fined 2 yuan and detained for 15 days. Not only that, Lu Wan also has to compensate Ni Yang for the damaged finances. As evaluated, the compensation was 50 yuan. Lu Wan's younger brother Lu Chong came to bail her out. As soon as Lu Wan saw Lu Chong, she started crying. She never imagined that the situation would have turned out like this. Not only did she lose her money, but now her husband was also taken away. All right, sister, stop crying, Lu Chong advised. I've told you before, Ni Daju is too wimpy for you. It's good that this happened. Well, go to the court and file for divorce tomorrow. You are still young and can find someone 100 times better than Ni Daju. Lu Wan is not only beautiful, she also has a great figure and a city residence registration. Many people at the factory have been envying her. Previously, it was to Ni Dazu's advantage. Hearing this, Lu Wan felt a bit better. She nodded and said, All right, Changzi, I'll listen to you. When Ni Yang received the 50 yuan sent by the police and learned about Ni Dazu's final outcome, she sighed in relief. She had finally eliminated a significant problem. As for Enai Daju, he deserved what he got and was not worth sympathizing. Lu Wan got off easy, only detained for 15 days. She should be locked up for 10 to 15 years. When Enai Yang got home, she told Enai Tsuehua about it. Enai Tsuehua, hearing the news, didn't react much and replied with a smile. Before, I was worried about them causing trouble at the store. Now I can finally stop worrying. Seeing Enai Tsuehua like this, Enai Yang finally let go completely. After Wang Meifeng returned home, she tried the facial cleanser and aloe gel that Enai Yang gave her out of curiosity. To her surprise, they worked incredibly well. Not only had the bumps and dry skin on her face completely disappeared, but her skin had also become extremely smooth. The change was very noticeable and made her co-workers very envious. Meifeng, what skincare products have you been using lately? Your skin looks so good. Recommend it to me too? Chapter 151, Another Source of Wealth. Enai Daju goes to prison? Yes, yes, yes. Recommend it to us too. Will you? You cannot keep a good thing to yourself. If one is beautiful, everyone should be. That is right. Wang Meifeng works for a foreign company, and her colleagues are not money-starved. Seeing that the cosmetics made by Enai Yang are so popular, she is also delighted. Maybe she can help Enai Yang unintentionally. Wang Meifeng mysteriously said, I use facial cleanser and aloe vera gel myself, but these two things cannot be bought outside. They were developed by a highly reputed divine doctor, the same one who cured my son's epilepsy. What Wang Meifeng said was true because in her eyes, Enai Yang was a capable divine doctor. Really? Doctors can make skincare products too? Someone expressed doubt. Wang Meifeng smiled and said, Is it true or false? Can't you guys tell? You all know what my face looked like in autumn before. For this face, I have detoured many paths and wasted a lot of money. Luckily, one met that divine doctor. Hearing this, her co-workers all nodded and agreed. They had been colleagues with Wang Meifeng for several years. They knew too well what her circumstances were before. Moreover, Wang Meifeng has always been very friendly, so she shouldn't cheat people. Meifeng, how much did you pay for these two things? Can you buy one on my behalf from the divine doctor? Wang Meifeng continued, I'm not very clear about the specific price because the divine doctor offered me a sample to try. If you really want it, I will help you ask him when the time comes. It's not just about asking. I really want to buy it. Meifeng, how about you bring me two as long as it doesn't exceed Lu Yuan? No woman does not cherish beauty. In any era, women are never miser when it comes to their faces. If the effect is as good as Wang Meifeng said, it would be worth it even if it is 200 yuan. I want it too. Bring me one too. Me too. Wang Meifeng took out paper and pen. Don't rush one by one. They'll note it down for you. But one have to make it clear to you all, I don't know if the divine doctor will sell these, so better not keep your hopes too high. All right. As long as you help us ask, it's enough. Wang Meifeng also has a quick temper. She took leave the next day and went to Enai Yang. After Enai Yang heard about this, she was surprised and said, Are the facial cleanser and aloe vera gel really that popular? Wang Meifeng laughed and said, Well, indeed they are. Look, these are all the people who want me to bring facial cleanser and aloe vera gel for them. Enai Yang looked over. There were as many as 15 people on the list. This was far beyond Enai Yang's expectation. She didn't expect that her unintentional acts could be so helpful. Maybe this method could also be a way for her to make money. What do you think, Yang? Do you want to sell it? Wang Meifeng asked in succession. Enai Yang laughed and said, Sell. Of course sell. However, Aunt Wang, one don't have ready-made cleansers and aloe vera gel at hand. How about one make some and deliver them to you the day after tomorrow? Okay. Wang Meifeng nodded and continued. So, how much are you selling these two products for? One will go back and tell them. After all, skincare products are used on the face. If it's too cheap, it will inevitably raise doubts and distrust. Moreover, the natural materials and labor used by Enai Yang would undermine profits if sold too cheaply. No one would make things without profit. And Ai Yang continued, the facial cleanser would be 15 yuan per bottle, and the aloe vera gel 20. Upon hearing this, Wang Meifeng was surprised and said, Yang, are you sure you want to sell it at such a cheap price? She had earlier bought some skincare products, each costing over 30 yuan, and the effect was not good. And Ai Yang nodded. The prices will be set tentatively like this. For an Ai Yang, this price was already quite high. If she could cement a place in the market and keep the sales steady, it would earn much more than selling pickled vegetable noodles. Wang Meifeng nodded. Okay. Then I will go back and share this good news with everyone. Wait a minute, Aunt Wang. And Ai Yang called out to Wang Meifeng's retreating figure. Wang Meifeng stopped, and Ai Yang turned around and walked into the house. After a moment, she handed over the remaining cleanser and aloe vera gel in her home to Wang Meifeng. Here, take this. Wang Meifeng took the cleanser and aloe vera gel, took out money from her bag, and handed it to an Ai Yang. She had already taken it for free once. She certainly couldn't take it for free this time. And Ai Yang smiled and declined. Aunt Wang, don't you treat me this way. It's disparaging. You helped me so much this time. According to reason, I should be paying you for promotion. Wang Meifeng laughed and said, Yang, by saying this, you are treating me as an outsider. If such good skincare products are available, even if one didn't know you, I will help with the promotion. Good things should be shared by everyone, right? How can it be exclusive only for me? And Ai Yang said further, if you really treat me as one of your own, stop talking about money and put it back. With no other choice, Wang Meifeng had to take her money back. After sending Wang Meifeng away, and Ai Yang greeted an Ai Tsuehua and rode her bicycle to the market. Now that she has decided to sell cosmetics, of course, she needs to be prepared with the right containers. The bottles for skincare products don't need to be fancy. Plain-looking ones will do. So Ai Yang chose transparent glass bottles. The bottle cap was made of wood and looked very refreshing. If this path can be followed successfully, Ai Yang plans to customize a batch of exclusive bottles from the factory in the future. After buying the bottles, Ai Yang went to buy equipment for making distilled water. All these things cost her a total of 15 yuan. After returning home, Ai Yang bought a large bucket of fresh milk from Zaiwa's home. Fresh milk is not expensive. A large bucket weighing 5 kilograms costs only 5 yuan. 5 kilograms can make a lot of facial cleanser. After preparing all the things, Ai Yang began to peel the aloe vera. Ai Tsuehua came over and said, Yang, let me help you. Just remove the skin of the aloe vera and slice it, right? Ai Yang looked up and said, Mom, you don't need to help here. You can take care of my sister. Ai Tsuehua said, no problem. Your sister is asleep. The mother and daughter worked together, and the work efficiency was much higher. In a short while, a large amount of aloe vera was peeled. At the Mo family, these days, Mo Hudie's condition has become more and more serious, and old lady Mo is increasingly anxious. She hopes to see the divine doctor from Jiangnan who was mentioned by Li Xianxian. However, the divine doctor from Jiangnan has not yet appeared. Seeing Mo Hudie's painful appearance, old lady Mo couldn't help crying. At this time, a servant's voice echoed in the room. Old lady, Miss Xianxian is here. Xianxian is here. Old lady Mo's dim eyes instantly filled with hope. Chapter 152. Smartly slapping the face. Never give up treatmenty. Li Xianxian looked stunning today, dressed in a white lace-patterned top and a form-fitting black pencil skirt. Her long black hair was dyed to a honey brown and styled in large curls that tumbled over her shoulders, giving her a mature and sexy look. She was at the forefront of fashion, far ahead of anyone in this era. Now, everyone in her circle and her classmates were emulating Li Xianxian's style. Grandma, how has Xiaodai been doing recently? Li Xianxian approached and asked with concern. Madame Mo sighed deeply. Don't worry, Grandma. Li Xianxian walked over, resting her hand on Madame Mo's shoulder. I came here today to bring you good news. Good news. Madame Mo turned to look at Li Xianxian. Have we heard from the divine doctor of Jiangnan? The divine doctor of Jiangnan was Madame Mo's only hope. Li Xianxian nodded. Yes, the medicine sent by the divine doctor has arrived. Really? Madame Mo gasped in surprise. Yes. Li Xianxian nodded. Why would I lie to you? Look, this is it. With that, Li Xianxian pulled out 2 small red porcelain bottles from her bag. Grandma, this medicine needs to be taken 3 times a day, 1 pill each time. In less than 3 days, Xiaodai will improve. Once Xiaodai gradually recovers, we can have the divine doctor come over for a follow-up visit. All right. Madame Mo nodded, her face filled with gratitude. Xianxian, on behalf of Xiaodai, thank you. You are truly a benefactor to our Mo family. As she spoke, Madame Mo burst into tears. Li Xianxian quickly comforted her. Grandma, don't say that. I can't take credit for it. I'm just a go-between. Although she said she was just a go-between, not anyone could manage this feat. The divine doctor of Jiangnan was renowned for his exceptional medical skills and eccentric personality, and he usually refused patients with the surnames Yang and Mo. Who else could persuade him to break these rules? Perhaps only Li Xianxian could do that. Madame Mo continued, in any case, Xianxian, you are indeed a great benefactor to our Mo family. Li Xianxian laughed. Grandma, don't do this. You're making me blush. Let's give Xiaodai her medicine. All right. Madame Mo turned to her housemaid. Mrs. Lin, get some warm water. Of course, madam. Mrs. Lin promptly brought a cup of warm boiled water. I'll do it, Mrs. Lin. Li Xianxian gently took the cup from her hands and walked over to Xiaodai's bedside, ready to administer the medicine. She moved gently, carefully helping Xiaodai sit up. Come on, Xiaodai. Let's take our medicine. We'll get better after we take it. Though Mo Hudi was still unconscious, she was aware enough to swallow. Occasionally, water spilled from the corner of her mouth, and Li Xianxian, without a hint of disgust, gently wiped it clean with a handkerchief. Watching Li Xianxian, Madame Mo's eyes were filled with satisfaction. Li Xianxian was a rare gem. If she could become her granddaughter-in-law, it would be wonderful. Unfortunately, her eldest grandson was too stubborn. Madame Mo knew she would have to devise a way to bring the two together. After administering the medicine, Li Xianxian assured Madame Mo, don't worry, Grandma. With the divine doctor of Jiangnan on our side, Xiaodai will be just fine. Madame Mo nodded. Li Xianxian admonished. Also, Grandma, the divine doctor said that Xiaodai can't be exposed to sunlight or wind while she's taking this medicine, so the windows need to be closed. We need to be cautious when coming and going. All right. Madame Mo immediately ordered someone to close all the windows. Li Xianxian continued. Also, besides protecting her from the wind, she also needs to follow a strict diet. She can't have spicy, greasy, or fragrant food. Madame Mo noted everything down. Having given all her instructions, Li Xianxian then asked to leave. Upon hearing that Li Xianxian was leaving, Madame Mo stood up and said, Why the rush to leave? Li Xianxian smiled. I have business to attend to at the base this afternoon. They'll come to see you when I'm free. Madame Mo stood up to accompany Li Xianxian to the door. Li Xianxian, ever considerate, said, Grandma, don't worry about seeing me out. I know my way around here better than my own home. Madame Mo held Li Xianxian's hand, saying reluctantly, Xianxian, remember to visit me often when you have the time. Chapter 153. Skillfully slapping the face. Never give up treatment. Li Xianxian nodded. Don't worry. Although Li Xianxian had insisted no need for farewell, old Lady Mo still escorted her downstairs. Watching the retreating figure of Li Xianxian, housemaid Lin sipped in awe. Old lady, Miss Xianxian is such a good girl. Not only is her character good, so is her appearance and manners. She's practically perfect. Indeed, old Lady Mo also sighed. Xianxian is indeed an extraordinary girl. Remarkably, Mo Hudi's condition improved significantly the same night she took the medicine. She, who was previously unconscious, was now able to sit up and talk. Mo Fuhai and old Lady Mo were overjoyed, shedding tears of relief. Bodhisattva blesses us. It's truly the Bodhisattva's blessing. Old Lady Mo stammered excitedly. Mo Fuhai laughed. What a futile mindset. Clearly, it's all thanks to Xian Xian and the divine doctor from Jiangnan. Old Lady Mo nodded hastily. Yes, yes, it's all thanks to Xian Xian and the divine doctor from Jiangnan. Mo Fuhai, walking up to Mo Hudi, asked anxiously, Shao Dai, how do you feel now? Does your head still hurt? Mo Hudi shook her head. No, it doesn't hurt anymore, Grandpa. You don't have to worry. In the past, when Mo Hudi said it didn't hurt, it was merely to comfort Mo Fuhai. But this time it truly didn't hurt. Grandpa, I want to go outside and bask in the sun. Mo Hudi added. Before Mo Fuhai could nod in agreement, Old Lady Mo said, Shao Dai, the divine doctor said you can't be exposed to the wind or sunlight now. How about we take you out after you've fully recovered? Mo Hudi nodded and continued, Grandma, I want to eat meat. Mo Hudi was truly craving for meat. After being bedridden for over a month, her diet mostly consisted of noodles and porridge, easily digestible foods. She had nearly forgotten the taste of meat. Hearing this, Old Lady Mo's heart ached, wiping away her tears. The Mo family were wealthy, even their servants could eat meat in their 3 meals a day. But for Mo Hudi, eating meat had become a luxury. The poor girl. Choking back tears, Old Lady Mo said, Good girl, you can't eat meat right now. Once you recover, I'll let you eat as much as you want. Mo Hudi dutifully wiped away Old Lady Mo's tears. Grandma, don't cry. I don't feel like eating meat now. Meat isn't that great. Her words sounded like she was comforting Old Lady Mo and also herself. Even the usually composed Mo Fuhai was moved to tears. At the Ni family residence. It was already late at night, but Ni Yang was still busy. She had packed the newly made facial cleanser and aloe gel into glass jars, with 31 jars of facial cleanser and 35 jars of aloe gel in total. The facial cleanser was milky white, while the aloe gel was a pale, jelly-like substance. Arranged in jars with round wooden stoppers, they looked particularly attractive, not unlike those high-end skincare products in later generations. Omitting the labor cost, these products had cost nearly 20 yuan in total. Selling a single jar of aloe gel would cover the cost, and this time she had 15 pre-orders. Each order was for a jar of facial cleanser and a jar of aloe gel, totaling 35 yuan. 15 orders meant a total of 525 yuan. The thought of how a day's effort could rake in so much money made Ni Yang tireless. Her spirits were high. If she could open up the market for domestic skincare through this endeavor, that would be even better. In her prior world, famous skincare brands like SKII, Lamer, Fermat, Lancome, Helena, and so forth all originated from overseas. Domestic skincare products could hardly compete within the country. And scrupulous merchants, in order to make money and save costs, would often substitute inferior chemical substances for natural ingredients. This led to tragedies like ruined skin and glow-in-the-dark face masks, gradually eroding the public's trust in domestic skincare products. People preferred to splurge on foreign brands, even at 10 to 100 times the price, rather than settling for domestic brands. Her goal was to carve out new territory within the domestic skincare industry, while these major brands were still absent from the local market. In the past, foreigners capitalized on the exorbitant prices to make money from the Chinese. And Ai Yang had a clear goal. She not only wanted to secure a foothold domestically, but also planned to market her skincare products overseas and earn a good deal of foreign money. It was high time for a resurgence of domestic skincare products. Seeing this, Ai Yang refueled her determination. As it was now autumn, she didn't need to store these skincare products in the fridge. A cool, dry place would suffice. Chapter 154. Skillfully slapping the face. Never give up treatment. Having sorted through the skincare products, Ai Yang went back to her room to sleep. The next morning, Ai Yang was awakened by the scent of delicious food. Usually, Ai Yang would prepare breakfast, but Ai Tsuehua, seeing that her daughter was not getting enough sleep, would get up early to prepare breakfast. All An Yang had to do was to prepare Mrs. Mo's meals the night before. "Mum, what are we having this morning? It smells wonderful," asked An Yang, still brushing her teeth, and she walked over to the stove. An Tsuehua answered laughingly, "When your aunt and I were out in the city the other day, everyone seemed to be eating fried dough sticks. They looked really appetizing, so I tried making some. Hurry up and finish brushing your teeth to taste it." In the past, without An Yang by her side, An Tsuehua would have found it difficult to get around in Beijing. But now things were different. With enough money, she had no problem making her way around the city or even between several cities. The changes in An Tsuehua were not just on the surface. "All right." An Yang nodded, quickly brushed her teeth, washed her face, and came to the living room for breakfast. The main breakfast was porridge, boiled eggs, and fried dough sticks. The side dish was spicy radish strips. Savoring the porridge with some spicy radish strips, followed by the crispy fried dough stick, was nothing short of delicious. An Quihua's cooking skills were quite good. She controlled the heat of the dough sticks just right. They tasted crispy and fluffy, leaving a lingering fragrance after bites, and the spicy radish strips perfectly balanced out the greasiness of the fried dough sticks. "Mom, this tastes great." An Yang gave her mother a thumbs up. An Tsuehua laughed. "You know just how to please me." An Chungue from the side said, "Yang Yang's mom. She's not flattering you at all. Your culinary skills are way better than the vendors selling fried dough sticks." No wonder An Yang's cooking skills were so good. It turns out An Tsuehua was also quite talented. Upon hearing this, An Tsuehua laughed even more joyously. "If it's tasty, then eat more." After breakfast, An Chungue left for work, and An Yang went to bring Wang Meifeng her skincare products. Wang Meifeng's workplace was in the center of Beijing. When An Yang arrived, Wang Meifeng had already been waiting. Yang, over here, Auntie Wang." An Yang stopped her car with a smile. Yang, here is the money, please count it." Wang Meifeng handed An Yang an envelope. An Yang took the envelope, smiling. "No need to count. Don't I trust you? By the way, these are the face wash and aloe gel." She unloaded a cardboard box from the back seat of her car. "Shall I help you bring it in?" Wang Meifeng said, "No need, Yang. I can do it myself. You go ahead with your work." An Yang handed the bag hanging from her car to Wang Meifeng and laughed. "You have worked hard, Auntie Wang. Oh, these are the dried fruits and sour plum soup that I made myself. Please share them with your colleagues. And this is the bread I made for Guobao." Before even opening the package, a mouth-watering aroma filled the air. Feeling uncomfortable accepting An Yang's gifts for no reason, Wang Meifeng insisted that these were not a big deal to her. It was An Yang who had been a great help to her family. If it hadn't been for An Yang Guobao would still be sick. Without An Yang, would her skin have become so good? Seeing Wang Meifeng's rejections, An Yang swiftly filled Wang Meifeng's arms with the items, hopped onto her bike, and turned to depart, hollering back, "Bye, Auntie Wang." Wang Meifeng chuckled and shook her head. This child. Back in her office, Wang Meifeng put aside the things that An Yang had given for Yang Guobao. She then distributed the skincare products along with the dried fruits and sour plum soup to her colleagues. "Wow, Meifeng, this sour plum soup is incredible. Where did you buy it from? The dried fruits are also good. They are even tastier than the imported ones." The office filled up with the rustling sound of munching on dried fruits and words of praise. Wang Meifeng said, "Both the dried fruits and sour plum soup were handmade by the divine doctor. She asked me to bring them and share with you all. That divine doctor is amazing. How does she know how to do everything?" "Absolutely. She is quite extraordinary, isn't she?" Suddenly, a voice sourer than vinegar piped up. "This tactic of attracting popularity is indeed good. Who knows if she really is that good? You all shouldn't count someone's money after being sold." The speaker was Lu Fun, who usually butted heads with Wang Meifeng. Lu Fun had once pursued Wang Meifeng's husband, Yang Changzheng. After Wang Meifeng and Yang Changzheng became a couple, Lu Fun believed that Wang Meifeng had come between her and Yang Changsheng's relationship, so she often targeted Wang Meifeng, dreaming of shattering Wang Meifeng and Yang Changsheng's marital bliss, hoping for a prompt divorce. Chapter 155. Cleverly slapping the face. Never give up treatment carrot. Lu Fun had once heard that the relationship between Wang Meifeng and Zhou Suhua was a strained mother-in-law and daughter-in-law relationship, which made Lu Fun ecstatic to the point where she couldn't sleep for 3 days and 3 nights. Wang Meifeng wasn't afraid of Lu Fun either. Immediately, she retorted. Whether someone is really impressive or not, time will tell everyone. There's no need for you to poke your nose into everything. Lu Fun, I just don't understand. A long enough rope can be knotted, why can't your tongue be? Cultured people truly have a unique way of swearing, without a single dirty word. Lu Fun hadn't even graduated from junior high. The only reason she could work here was nepotism. When she said this, a wave of laughter immediately swept through the crowd. Lu Fun's face had turned beet red, and she felt like cursing those who had bought skincare products to get facial abscesses and become disfigured immediately. After some time, Lu Fun turned to a coworker she was relatively close with and said, Nana, remember skincare products are put on the face. Be careful with these unverified products, without any manufacturing date or brand. I'm worried they might disfigure you. I have a relative who was cheated by a known person and used skincare products of unknown origin. She is 35 now, and still can't find a husband. To discredit Wang Meifeng and the unknown divine doctor, Lu Fun even didn't hesitate to curse her own relatives. At these words, Zhou Nana was a bit surprised and said, Sister Fun, is that really true? Lu Fun nodded, and dead serious said, Of course, would I joke around about my own relative? Let me tell you, she now hides at home, too ashamed to face people with her disfigured face that even ghosts would be scared of. A disfigured face. This was no joking matter, and what Lu Fun said made sense. Would you use a skincare product with no label? Once she said this, not only Zhou Nana but the faces of other co-workers also weren't looking too good. Seeing everyone like this, Lu Fun showed a pleased smile on her face. Wang Meifeng laughed and said, Rest assured, not only is Divine Doctor skillful in medical skills, his craft in making skincare products is also top-notch. You all are worried about your faces being ruined, but does my face look damaged to you? Don't listen to Lu Fun's alarmist talk. She just can't stand to see others doing better than her. Wang Meifeng spoke directly without any fear of offending Lu Fun. Even though Wang Meifeng said so, everyone was still somewhat apprehensive. After all, the face is one's identity, and it matters a lot. If problems crop up later, who would they go to for help? They should be more cautious. Feeling a bit remorseful, Zhou Nana mused, I'm sorry, Sister Meifeng. Could I return this skincare product to you? If not, forget it. They'll just consider this 35 yuan spent as a lesson learned. Wang Meifeng laughed and said, Of course you can. I'm not forcing anyone to buy anything. But Nana, don't regret your decision. Seeing Zhou Nana returning the skincare product, the others followed suit. Though buying and returning behavior wasn't ideal, their faces mattered more. After all, 35 yuan wasn't a small amount. Money didn't come easy for anyone. In a blink, 11 people returned their products. 4 people didn't return their products, 2 of them being Wang Meifeng's good friends who trusted she wouldn't lie to them. The other 2 were Wang Meifeng's subordinates, who, out of respect, didn't feel comfortable returning the products. Wang Meifeng wasn't angry. It was just a couple of 100 yuan. If they missed out on good products, that was their loss. Looking at the 4 people that didn't return the products, Lu Fun sneered, Are you 4 fools? Or do you just like being disfigured? A slightly overweight woman glared at Lu Fun and threatened, Lu Fun, if you dare to distort the truth and being nonsensical, believe it or not, I'll slap you. This was Sun Mei, usually more aggressive. If she was truly angered, she wouldn't hesitate to take action. Grudgingly, Lu Fun shut her mouth. These women, who refused to listen to good advice, deserved to be disfigured. They would regret it someday. Sun Mei patted Wang Meifeng's back. Ignore her type. I believe in you. I also trust you. Another good friend. Tao Yuan also comforted Wang Meifeng. Wang Meifeng nonchalantly said, "It's fine. The innocent need not worry. I'm not angry. It's not worth getting angry with such people." And Yang had no idea what was happening here. She was currently riding her bike, humming a tune and heading towards the vegetable market. Chapter 156. Cleverly slapping the face. Never give up treatment as a black car was driving straight towards her. Seated in the back was none other than Mo Baichuan. Mo Baichuan spotted Yang almost instantly. Her. Again. Head had a few days of peace, and now? Why was she back in front of him? Could this really be a coincidence? Who would believe that? Mo Baichuan narrowed his eyes and ordered, "Xiao Zhao, pull over." "All right." His driver, Xiao Zhao, did as he was instructed. Mo Baichuan opened his door, getting out of the car and standing in the middle of the road with his arm out, blocking Yang's car. If Yang was going to keep trying to get his attention, he might as well play the game once. Someone suddenly jumping out into the middle of the road startled Yang so much she almost swore. Her fast reaction was the only thing that saved her from hitting him. "Are you insane?" Yang looked up furiously to indeed see a madman. Mo Baichuan. Yang. "Tell me, what's the point of all this?" Mo Baichuan glared coldly. "I'll tell you straight. No matter what you do, I'll never be attracted to someone like you. Even if Yang has the face of Su Daji. He isn't King Zhou of Shang." Yang picked at her ear disbelievingly. "What did you say?" Mo Baichuan continued. "Did you not understand me? I'll repeat it for you then. I will never be attracted to a scheming woman like you." Yang laughed out of pure frustration. She had been on this earth for 2 lifetimes, and she'd never met another as narcissistic and shameless as Mo Baichuan. Yang took a deep breath, pulled the watch out of her pocket, and shoved it into Mo Baichuan's hands. "Thank you for promising never to be attracted to a conniving woman like me. Erase your watch and please stay out of my sight in the future. You might enjoy it, but I, the scheming woman, have a strong sense of hygiene." She deliberately emphasized the words strong sense of hygiene. "And delusion is an illness that needs treatment." Before Mo Baichuan could react, Yang pulled out a 1-cent note and placed it in Mo Baichuan's hand. "You're still young. Don't ever give up on getting treatment. Consider the money my good deed for the day." Yang had initially planned to give him a bigger note, but upon second thought, she decided that Mo Baichuan wasn't worth wasting it on. A cent was more than enough. If there were even smaller amounts, she wouldn't have given him a cent, leaving her parting words ringing in the air. Yang didn't wait for Mo Baichuan's reactions. She hopped onto her bicycle and left. Mo Baichuan was on the verge of exploding with rage. His handsome face seemed to have a layer of frost, sending chills down your spine. What did Yang mean by all this? Was she doing the exact opposite of what he expected? For the first time, Mo Baichuan was infuriated not once, but 3 times by the same woman. Daring. She was so daring. The 1-cent note in his hand was crumpled into a ball by Mo Baichuan. His knuckles turned white from clenching his fist. This was the first time he'd ever been this angry. No woman he'd met would dare behave anything less than a docile kitten around him. Yet Yang was acting like a hedgehog. One day he would expose her true face. Through the car window, his driver, Xiao Zhao, seemed to see a familiar scene. It seemed that only Yang had the ability to make Mo Baichuan lose control. Xiao Zhao couldn't muster the courage to approach Mo Baichuan, and could only sit stiffly in the car. With the arrival of chilly autumn wind, the weather had begun to turn cold. So tonight, Yang planned on cooking grilled fish. Due to the weather, fish and shrimp were no longer available from local ponds, so she went to the vegetable market. She bought a catfish, along with some bean sprouts, tofu skin, and kelp to accompany it. After finishing her grocery shopping, Yang visited the hardware store to buy a pan for grilling fish. However, after a thorough search, she couldn't find a pan similar to the one she had had in her previous life. So, Yang explained what the fish grilling pan looked like to the shopkeeper. The shop owner replied with a smile, "We don't have the kind of pan you're looking for, But we do have another that won't stick to the fish. And Young asked, "Could you please show it to me?" In a brief moment, the shopkeeper presented her with a round stainless steel pan, quite similar to the pancake griddles, but without a long handle, just two knobs. This pan could work. Then Young asked, "I'll take this one then. How much is it?" Chapter 157. Cleverly slapping the face. Never give up treatment _6. 8 yuan. The boss must really think she's a kid to mess around with. An old pot that hasn't sold for over 800 years and he wants to sell it for 8 yuan? And Young laughed and said, "Boss, quit joking. I'm serious about buying. I'll take it for 1 yuan and 50 cents. The boss replied speechlessly, "Young lady, you're the one who's joking. A pot worth 8 yuan for 150? This pot is the most sought after this year. If you come any later, you might not be able to buy it." And Young said, "I've never seen any sought-after item that has been stored in the warehouse for several years and not sold. If you don't really want to sell it, then I'll leave you alone." With that, Young turned and left. Seeing that Young had walked several steps and had no intention of turning back, the boss immediately shouted, "Young lady, come back. Come back quickly. They'll sell it to you for 150. Although 1 yuan and 50 cents wouldn't make much profit, it was better than it rotting in the warehouse and turning into a piece of waste. She originally thought that this young lady was easy to fool, but she never expected that this young lady was very shrewd, successfully buying a pot and groceries. And Young returned home. When she returned home, it was after 5 in the afternoon, just in time to cook. And Tsuehua was washing vegetables, while Young went to start a charcoal fire to grill fish. The grilled fish had to be grilled with charcoal fire to be authentic. Grilling in a bread oven would definitely not work. So Young started a charcoal fire in the stove, split the fish in half and skewered it on a bamboo stick and started grilling. Before long, there was a sizzling sound in the air. After seeing the fish oil come out, she started adding chili powder, cumin powder, table salt, and other spices. After all the spices were added, a distinctive barbecue aroma came out, and Young seemed to have returned to the time in her past life when she sat on the street grilling skewers. After the fish was grilled till both sides were golden brown, and Young started to stir-fry the grilled fish ingredients. First, she stir-fried the bean paste to bring out the red oil, then added spring onions, ginger, and garlic to bring out the fragrance. Then she added green chili peppers, onions, Sichuan peppercorns, soy sauce, beer, and water. After it was boiled on high heat, she poured the red soup over the grilled fish. Instantly, an enticing aroma filled the air. The fragrance of cumin, the spiciness of the red oil, and a sprinkle of cilantro as decoration, a look and taste-appealing grilled fish was ready. And Young brought the grilled fish to the table and lit the small stove. Immediately, the red oil soup in the grilled fish started to boil and the aroma became even stronger. At this time, she added the side dishes and you could eat while dipping in the soup. When Chengui walked in, he was immediately shocked by this enticing aroma. "Yang, what are we eating today? It smells so good." And Young smiled and said, "And Aunt, we're eating grilled fish today." And Chengui had braised fish, steamed fish, sour fish, and even sashimi, but he had never had grilled fish. No need to think about it, he knew this taste must be amazing. Upon hearing this, and Chengui couldn't wait and said, "I'll go wash my hands." Grilled fish is different from sour fish. It's numbing and spicy at first bite, then crispy on the outside and tender inside. It's so soft that it melts in your mouth as you take a light bite. Even the side dishes boiled in the soup are so delicious that people doubt their life. After finishing a pot of grilled fish, the soup left in the pot can be eaten with several bowls of rice. Why can fish be made so delicious? And Chengui was almost crying. Yang, I have nothing else to say. Just 2 words. Phenomenal. And Chengui held a thumbs up to Young. And Young laughed and said, "It's good that you like it, auntie." Although Tsuehua didn't say anything, she was equally shocked. She thought the sour fish was already delicious. To her surprise, The taste of this grilled fish made it irresistible. In comparison, she felt that the food she used to eat at the Mu family was not even as good as pig's food. After the meal, and I Chengui finally had the chance to discuss something important. By the way, Yang, 2 of my colleagues want me to buy your aloe vera gel and facial cleanser for them. Do you sell those? The results of the facial cleanser and aloe vera gel that Ni Yang made were incredibly good. Not only could it make the skin smooth, but it also made the skin more elastic and made their skin look rejuvenated. This caused wherever she went, people would ask her what brand of skincare she was using. Of course, I sell it. And I Yang nodded. And I Chengui asked again, how much are they? And I Yang replied, the facial cleanser is 15, and the aloe vera gel is 20. Chapter 158. Skillfully slapping the face. Never give up treatment. 7 bottles for 35 yuan really isn't expensive. After all, these skincare products work so well. And I Chengui then said, then get me 2 sets, no 3 sets, I need a kit too. And I Yang had given her some last time which she had nearly used up. And I Yang turned around, fetched 3 sets of skincare products from her house and handed them to her. And I Chengui took out 105 yuan from her pocket and gave it to an I Yang. And I Yang took out 35 yuan and returned it to an I Chengui. And I, you've helped me promote my skincare products and even sold 2 sets for me. How can I take your money? From now on, it'll cover all your skincare products. If you run out, just let me know directly. A good product is important, but knowing how to drive your business is even more important. And I Yang wouldn't sacrifice greater benefits for a little profit. No employee is obliged to do overtime for their boss. Although Ni Chengui is not her employee, the principle is the same. As the saying goes, even brothers keep accounts. And I Chengui felt embarrassed and said, how can this be? Yang, it's not easy for you to do business. And I Yang laughed and replied, nothing is impossible, Antoni. Please take it at ease, we're family, you've always taken great care of me. If you don't accept this, it would really be alienating. And I Yang gave her word, leaving Ni Chengui no choice but to accept. At the same time, she decided to herself that she would definitely help Ni Yang promote her skincare products more in the future. Meanwhile, when Sun Mei was washing her face in the evening, she noticed the clear glass jar on the sink. Although in the daytime, she firmly stated that she trusted Wang Meifeng, this was after all a matter concerning her own face. What if, really like what Lu Fun, that harbinger of doom, said? Between using it and not using it, she hesitated for a long time. Eventually, she decided to take a risk and give it a try. What if it really works like magic? She refused to believe that Wang Meifeng, an old acquaintance, would harm her. Removing the cap of the facial cleanser, Sun Mei immediately caught a whiff of a very pleasant fragrance. Although it was very light, it was nonetheless refreshing to the senses. Would a crappy skin-ruining product smell this nice? With that thought, Sun Mei's worries evaporated significantly. She put some of the facial cleanser in her palm, applied it evenly on her face, and within a short while, a white foam appeared on her face. It was gentle and not irritating and was able to wash off the dirt and grease hidden on her face. After washing, she felt significantly more relaxed. It seems that Wang Meifeng was indeed telling the truth. This stuff is really better than facial powder. Sun Mei then applied some aloe vera gel on her face. After completing her skincare routine, Sun Mei went to bed. When she woke up the next morning and was combing her hair, Sun Mei was amazed to discover that the red spots on her face were gone, and her skin was much more moisturized than usual. This is simply incredible. No wonder it was developed by a divine doctor. As soon as Sun Mei arrived at the company, she excitedly told Wang Meifeng about what happened. Even though she didn't speak loudly, everyone in the office heard her. Did everyone else frown? Is it real or fake? Are those skincare products really that miraculous? But upon examination, it seemed that Sun Mei's skin condition did look much better. Didn't Lu Fun say it would ruin the face? Noticing the stares of others, Lu Fun snorted coldly. It's only been 1 day. How could it ruin the face so quickly? At least 3 days. Just wait and see, in 3 days, she will definitely regret. Everyone thought so too. It's only been a day. What effect could be seen? Time flew by quickly, and in the blink of an eye, it was the second day. The second day, Sun Mai's skin not only showed no signs of abnormalities. Instead, it was radiantly healthy. On the third day, when everyone was looking forward to seeing Sun Mai's face deteriorate, her face not only did not deteriorate but also looked better than it did the day before. Her skin had improved, and Sun Mei was all smiles wherever she went, no longer exhibiting her previously fierce demeanor. By this time, Lu Fan was already becoming restless. It shouldn't be. Why didn't her face get ruined? How could a product with no certifications and standards not ruin the face? Perhaps 3 days was not long enough to show any effect. It might take 6 days. Yes, it must be like this. However, on the third, fourth, and even fifth day, Sun Mai's skin condition got better day by day. Now she even hummed while walking. The sight of this left everyone envious. Walking boastfully up to Lu Fan, Sun Mei taunted, "Lu Fan, didn't you say that my face would be ruined after 3 days? But now, 6 days have passed. Not only is my face undamaged, but my skin has also been getting better and better each day. You really should apologize to Mei Feng." Hearing this, everyone chimed in agreement. Yes, Lu Fan is to blame. If she didn't cause trouble back then, we would already be using it by now. Lu Fan, you nearly cost us the chance to use such good skincare products. You owe an apology not only to Mei Feng but also to us. Enraged to the point of blushing, Lu Fan retorted, "It may be that the time isn't up yet. Sun Mei, what are you so pleased about? Just wait and see. Sooner or later your face will be ruined." Laughing, Sun Mei responded, "Lu Fan, your disgusting face is really hard to look at. Forget it. I'm in a good mood today and can't be bothered to quarrel with you. Otherwise, I would definitely have slapped you. Also, in putting it out there today, if I hear you bad-mouthing Divine Doctor again, I, Sun Mei, will not let you off." The surrounding crowd began to reprimand Lu Fan for her wrongdoing. Lu Fan, who was previously a crowd favorite, had now become a scapegoat. Right then and there, Lu Fan was like a dog that had fallen into the water. She slinked away with her tail between her legs, leaving the office in shame. Just wait and see. Sooner or later, they will regret it. After Lu Fan left, her colleagues rushed towards Wang Meifeng. "Meifeng, is it too late for me to change my mind? I'm willing to pay double the price for the facial cleanser and aloe vera gel." "Me too. I want to buy too." "Meifeng, we're sorry, we shouldn't have betrayed you. We didn't trust you." "Meifeng, we're sorry." Wang Meifeng replied with a slight smile. "It's okay. As our chairman said, if you can correct your wrongs, you are still a good comrade. But there are none left today. The remaining 11 bottles from last time were all bought by colleagues from other departments. If you want to buy them, you can come over and register first. The price will still be the original one." Thanks to Sun Mai's example, those 11 bottles were swept clean by the neighboring department 3 days ago. Hearing this, the previously calmed people flared up at Lu Fan once more. Mo family. Early in the morning, Zhou Suhua brought Yang Guobao to visit Mo Hudi, who was sick. Even after taking the medicine from the Divine Doctor for a week, Mo Hudi's condition looked much better than before, but she was still bedridden and her face was filled with signs of illness. Zhou Suhua told Mrs. Mo about Yang Guobao's complete recovery. Surprised, Mrs. Mo asked, "Is he really recovered?" Zhou Suhua nodded. "Indeed, he's better. I underestimated the Divine Doctor and nearly missed Guobao's chance of recovery. Thankfully, Meifeng is a good girl and insisted on the treatment. Erwin, that Divine Doctor is really amazing. Why don't you let her come and see your daughter, Hudi? It's not doing us any good to keep on like this." Chapter 159. Home Visit. Li Xianxian commits suicide. Zhou Suhua now deeply believes in Ni Yang. When she talks about this, her eyes are full of admiration, without treating Ni Yang as a 17 or 18-year-old kid. She also earnestly hopes that Mo Hudi will get better soon. Otherwise, she wouldn't have recommended Ni Yang to Old Lady Mo. Hearing this, Old Lady Mo was surprised. "Is that Divine Doctor really that amazing?" Didn't I hear people say that he was just a 17 or 18-year-old kid? How could a child be so capable? Old Lady Mo was still somewhat skeptical in her heart. Zhou Suhua nodded. It's true. We've been sisters for so many years. Would I lie to you? Although the young divine doctor is young, his medical skills are genuinely brilliant. Otherwise, Guobao wouldn't have recovered so quickly. Erwin, think about it. In order to cure Guobao's illness, Changzheng and Meifeng visited many hospitals and even consulted with foreign professors. But the illness that even the foreign professors couldn't cure was cured by her. Isn't she a divine doctor? Sometimes a person's strength really can't be judged by their age. If Meifeng didn't believe in the divine doctor like me at the time, Guobao might not be here now. Upon hearing this, old Lady Mo became deep in thought. The current Yang Guobao is indeed very different from the previous one. The before and after was like two different people. You must know that the disease Yang Guobao previously suffered from was considered incurable. There was no record of successful treatment in modern medicine. But Yang Guobao and Mo Hudi's illnesses were completely different. Could that divine doctor really cure Mo Hudi as well? Old Lady Mo hesitated for a moment, then said, Actually, Xiaodai's condition has improved somewhat recently after taking the medicine prescribed by that Jiangnan divine doctor. As the saying goes, too many cooks spoil the broth. Wouldn't it be inappropriate to consult another doctor? Zhou Suhua promptly replied, Although that's true, more manpower means more hope. We all want Xiaodai to get better quickly. Seeing as that Jiangnan divine doctor hasn't even shown his face, getting another person to have a look might ease our concerns. Zhou Suhua spoke reasonably, so old Lady Mo nodded. Suhua, your words are eye-opening. In this case, where does that divine doctor live? They'll have someone invite him right away. Zhou Suhua said, Let's do this. I'll call Meifeng now. Okay. Old Lady Mo kept nodding. Then I will have to trouble your family's Meifeng. Zhou Suhua laughed and said, We've known each other for so many years. There's no need to mention anything burdensome. Zhou Suhua got up to make the call. Wang Meifeng is also a warm-hearted person. Upon hearing her mother-in-law's words, she immediately dropped her work and had Yang Changxing drive her to Anai Yang's place. Yang Guobao bounced over. Grandma, Old Lady Mo, is Sister Anai Yang coming to treat Xiaodai? Zhou Suhua nodded. Yes, your dad and mom have already gone to pick up your sister Anai Yang. Yang Guobao cheerfully said, That's great. Sister Anai Yang will surely cure Xiaodai. After that, Yang Guobao ran to the bedroom to bring this good news to Mo Hudi, who was lying in bed. The servant quickly shut the door, fearing that even a little wind would come in. Yang Guobao ran to Mo Hudi's bedside, excitedly saying, Xiaodai, let me tell you, Sister Anai Yang is really amazing. When he said this, his eyes were nearly sparkling. Mo Hudi weakly said, Really? Yang Guobao nodded. It's really true. Look how well I look now. It's Sister Anai Yang who cured me. Xiaodai, don't worry. Sister Anai Yang will definitely be able to cure you too. Soon we can go to school together and play together. Hearing this, a smile of longing appeared in Mo Hudi's eyes. It was a desire emanating from the depths of her heart. It was also the redemption of a deeply ill person. Just then, there were footsteps outside the door again. Old Lady Zhang and Miss Xianjing are here. The servant pushed open the door from outside. Zhang Xianjing supported Old Lady Zhang into the room, and the coughing sound of Old Lady Zhang accompanied them. Old Lady Mo, seeing Zhou Suhua, Zhang Xianjing exclaimed in surprise, Oh, Old Lady Yang is here too. Xianjing. Zhou Suhua greeted her with a smile. Zhang Xianjing was a sweet and pretty girl who performed well in her studies. She was quite liked by the elderly folks. You're tuning in to the Legend of the Vagabond YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.